Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday. I think it's still April. I don't know. Maybe it's October. I wouldn't be able to tell you, except for the fact that children are not coming to my door asking for candy right now. I believe it's April the 30th, 2020. It's another Technical Alpha podcast. We got another great show for you lined up. Mr. Black, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
Chill.
Yeah?
I'm trying to get this chat up here. There we go. Yeah, it's just streaming, chilling, maxing and relaxing.
Sitting all cool, shooting some b-ball outside of the school.
Yes, sir.
A couple of guys who were up no good.
Good. Yeah.
Did they start making trouble in your neighborhood?
They did, and I got in one little fight. My mom got scared. She said, "You're moving to your auntie and uncle in Bel Air, bro." I said, "Okay."
I mean, there's worse places than Bel Air right now, I guess. Hold on. If I can get Discord to just chill the fuck. There we go. We got it. Well, it's good. How was your week? Anything out of the norm? How's the RP going? Anything crazy? New songs?
Nah. Same
So
bro.
It's just been like another like standard RP week. Nothing flashy.
It's been a standard week.
Incredible.
That's it. I mean, I literally have done nothing exciting has happened in my life in the last week since last Thursday.
Well,
it actually feels like we did a podcast 2 nights ago.
It does.
So
it does.
Yeah,
it does.
And nothing's happened since then.
No, it's true. Yeah, it's been about that here as well this week. I mean, for me, this week has been write my Final Fantasy VII Great American Novel, record the Great American Novel in voiceover, and now Mark and I are working on the video portion of the review. It's coming in currently at including the end with the Patreon supporters and all that shit. 38 minutes. And there is zero filler in that bad boy. Fucking Angry Joe just put his review up yesterday, 2 days ago, I think. And his is 35 or something in there, I think, 35 minutes. But he's got like his cosplay skits and like all this other No, you sit down and watch or listen to this review. You need a snack or two. You're gonna need a liter of water. You might even need a catheter or a bedpan to get it all the way through this bad boy. It is a commitment. You might even be married by the time this thing's all said and done. But it is going to be done here in the not too distant future, and the website's also just about done. We're doing we're re-enabling caching and the CDN network for distributing the site, which means right now the site is pretty much unreachable because we're waiting for name server shit and whatnot to switch over, but everything's just coming together with that review, and then in between, I've been just popping in 5-6 hour streams wherever I can squeeze some time, playing some board games. We played poker in as you saw the other night with Tabletop Simulator, because that's just what everyone owns, tabletop now, so we were just using that instead of signing up for, like, I think PokerStars might actually be the only place on the internet that you can have private tables with play money for poker. Nobody, since apparently the Xbox 360's arcade game of Texas Hold'em, has done Texas Hold'em where you can just play some fucking poker without actually having to spend money. So, there's your niche to fill. If you've got, game chops, you can dev a game, make a game right now. You put out $5.99. You put out a halfway fucking decent Texas Hold'em game that people can just sit down and choose how much chips people start with, set the blinds, and go. You will sell. I think you'll sell a shitload of copies.
You'll do well
of the poker game. So anyway, yeah, we were playing a bit of that, and we played the game of life the other day. That's the first time in ages I played that. That was kind of fun, and yeah, just kind of going through the motions, trying to maintain some level of physical activity. I'm not been like hitting weights hard or anything, but like every day I have like a half an hour stretching routine now, where I'm keeping my body from dying. It's just basically that's the goal, is to sit down, sit and stand and a bunch of other stuff, obviously, but yeah, like half hour of stretching, just because I was starting to feel like I could be exercising and shit. We just lost your webcam.
Shit.
But if people squint really hard, there's a tiny picture of you right in the middle of the screen. There we go. You're back. You're good.
There we go.
You're good.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah, where I was like doing some exercising here and there, but the increased amount of sitting I've been doing, my fucking God, my like hips and my knees and my back were screaming. And so I just decided to start doing stretching, and it has been wonderful. Fun fact, I started implementing some, I mean, it's not like it's groundbreaking shit, but it's something that I didn't think of before that was kind of useful. Like, I have super tight hamstrings. I'm sure your hamstrings are also like fucking bowstrings as well from all the sitting we do. Jean-Claude fucking Van Damme has been putting out an at-home like light body weight exercise and stretching routine on his YouTube channel. That just started like within this week. And so I was watching those, and I mean, if there's one man on earth that might know something about being flexible, Jean-Claude Van Damme. I don't know if how many people out there have taken the time to watch Bloodsport, but you should. At least once, maybe 4 or 5 times. That motherfucker is flexible, and he's pushing 60 now. He's 59 years old, and that motherfucker is still kicking cans off people's heads and doing the splits where his ankles are up around his ears. So I started to implement a couple of his things. Really simple shit, like putting your hands, instead of like doing the classic touch your toes type shit for your hamstrings, where I find it really hard to do that without my knees automatically bending just by virtue of bending over. Putting your hands, like going over to a wall and putting your hands flat on the wall, and then finding the right distance, and then like kind of walking your hands down the wall, and your knees will stay straight while doing that. And it's easier for you to find a distance where your body goes, okay, this is stretching. If you go 1 more inch, it's no longer stretching, it just hurts. And so you can find your distance, and that's, simple shit like that. So anyway, been doing that. Jean-Claude Van Damme, he's a god. I gotta shout out Jean-Claude. Go check his YouTube channel out if you want some stretches. And if you want to see Jean-Claude do his classic every now and then, he can't let go of the fact that he can still do kicks. So you're just going to see a kick come out. Or he'll do like the classic, like that side bicep shoulder shot that he has in like every fucking like film that he ever did. And he can't hate because he's 59. And it's just like, bam! He's just fucking like biceps and shoulders in your face. And you're like, fucking Jean-Claude, you son of a bitch. Okay, fine. I'll stretch a little bit. I'll get up and move. But we got video games to talk about, Jeff. Oh, something else happened this week. Today, actually.
What happened?
M cut my hair.
Oh.
So I didn't touch the top, but she properly got rid of 90% of the hair around the back and sides of my head today. We went on the back deck. I have a pair of clippers that I use for my beard, obviously. And I was like, all right, I'll walk you through this. And so we were out there, and I was like, Jesus, take the wheel. And we it's that first you hear the clippers in the back, and you hear the zzz, and you're like, ah, God, please. But hey, it worked out. She did a pretty good job. And if I had to, I could still be seen in public, and it would be okay.
There you go. So, I haven't shaved. I shaved my
trimming the beard up a bit.
Yeah, it's already grown back now. But as for the fro, it's still
You know what?
going.
You kind of got past the awkward phase, and now the hair is
Yeah.
kind of like it's kind of looking good now.
Hey, there's always with my hair, there's like a 6-7 week period where it looks like absolute dog shit.
Yes.
And then when we get over the hump,
Then
you're
good. And now people can see where Kai is getting his light curls from.
That's
right?
it.
He's got dad's curls.
We have very similar hair, except that
his
is a little more white. He's got some white in there.
Yeah.
So it's a little more fine. But
it won't be as curly as yours. It won't be as tight as of a curl, but he'll still have like the locks going on. Video games, Jeff. We have some to talk about. Are you ready to talk about some video games?
I'm ready.
Let's talk about some video games. WWE confirms that there will not be a WWE 2K21 this year, which is probably good given how shit WWE 2K20 was. Because holy shit, that was, I mean, the only thing that game was good for was my Twitter timeline for about 2 months was full of the greatest game glitches I've ever seen, possibly in my entire life.
It was crazy.
It was the gift that kept on giving. However,
don't they have another game coming out instead?
They do.
Power-ups and shit?
Yes. And I've already watched it. We're not going to watch it because it's a Twitter trailer, but you can click on that and watch it while I'm sitting here talking about it. Oh, you've seen it?
I've seen it,
so it's called WWE 2K Battlegrounds because everything has to have Battlegrounds in the name. And no, thankfully, it is not a Battle Royale. However,
could be a Rumble Royale.
It could be a Royal Rumble. Although I think didn't one of the wrestling promotions actually used to call it Battle Royale or some shit?
I'm not sure. I think so, actually.
That sounds like really right to me for some reason. Anyway, it's an arcade style game, and I mean fucking arcade style. And but arcade style in that they got a bunch of interns to make the video game. I watched that trailer, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It looks like a mobile game that was transferred for like any other fucking platform, but it just looks bad. Like really bad.
Yeah.
Nothing about it looks good. Not even just visually, like it looks terrible.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad. I actually probably would have preferred another shitty regular ass WWE game that's broken as fuck.
Yeah, that would provide more entertainment.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks properly poor. And we're not just saying that just because we like to shit on things around here sometimes. Go look it up if you want to see it. WWE 2K Battlegrounds. You will have the same opinion. It looks awful. I mean, really, at the end of the day, if I wanted an arcade style WWE or a wrestling game, I'm just gonna go play WCW versus NWO. And it's already classic. 50 million times better than whatever
this is.
The fuck that is. It's so terrible. So that's their replacement is they got their mobile division to hack together a game in 3 months to put out instead of failing miserably at trying to work from home create 2K21.
Yeah, WWE right now is in a really, really bad spot.
Yes.
There's been rumors now that Vince has either sold WWE or is in the process of it, and could be selling it to ESPN. And there is a high probability that
I didn't hear
WWE,
this.
Yeah, I heard about all this yesterday. And if they end up buying it, the WWE pay-per-views may all go to ESPN Plus. Right now the WWE is in some hurting situation. Their last Raw was the worst rating Raw of all time in 25 years. It's been on a steady decline.
WWE's been bad with an audience to back it up. You take out the audience and boy.
And so yeah, you could see Disney basically running the show for WWE. It's kind of hard to believe because Vince is so like attached to the thing, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. The dude is like 75 years old. This whole quarantine thing is just beating the hell out of the company. His XFL thing just completely fell through, apparently, as he was dumping more money into that and trying to get that off the ground again. So he's losing a lot of shit right now. Fired a lot of wrestlers, a lot of executives, and instead of, from what the article that I was watching, instead of them trying to salvage it with ESPN and Fox or whatever, I don't know what deals they have going on for TV. Then the rumor is either a deal is already been done in behind the scenes, or it's being discussed, and you could be seeing them play on ESPN Plus. And ESPN.
That's really fucking crazy to me because, I mean, I'll shit on Vince McMahon's decisions for the last 10 years all day, every day, because it's so many of them have been questionable. But the man is undoubtedly one of the greatest business minds of our generation, from going from the ringside announcer to taking over his dad's business and immediately, buying up and joining up the wrestling promotions around the country and turning it into the WWF, and then getting to where it is now is just fucking like, I mean, you can't even hate the guy. He was even a character on it, and arguably one of the best characters on the fucking promotion for like 15 years. So, man, have some of his decisions been weird in the last while, and it is a shame. XFL did seem like it had a chance at actually being lucrative at the very least for him, but the timing of this fucking pandemic, that is just a swift kick in the nuts, and it's hard to do wrestling without an audience. It's even harder to do wrestling without an audience when you've been largely relying on dubbing your audience because they're booing half the time, or they're dead because your wrestling promotion has been pretty much garbaged here for nearly 10 years. And so you get rid of the audience, and now you're really fucked. AEW right now is still getting good ratings. They're still getting good fucking viewership. Nobody complains about it. Everyone, if anything, I've seen people talking about how it's shown how many guys on the promotion are really good fucking mic workers because they don't need a crowd, or in WWE's case, a fucking injected crowd, like it's a laugh track for a shitty friggin' comedy on TV, to carry the wrestling and the story.
Yeah.
And so, I'm not surprised that the ratings were tanking for them.
So, well, I'm sure we'll hear more about that in the upcoming weeks.
I would have thought, in my mind, he was just going to pass it on to fucking Hunter, Triple H. And then, I still think in a way he will. Like, even if it gets bought out, like, he just won't be the owner.
Part of the deal. Yeah. He'll Triple H will probably be like the CEO, or I'm sure if Disney buys them, then they're still gonna run it the way that they're running it. Of course, it might even have to be a little bit more PG. I mean, they're pretty PG now. So who fucking knows? Or maybe it's just a rumor. But apparently somebody close on the inside has confirmed either a deal has already been made, or it is being discussed, and there's a good chance that this may be it for Vince.
Man, what is the WWE worth even right now?
Oh,
it's got to be worth a lot of money, even right now.
At least $1 billion.
Yeah, minimum.
At least.
Minimum. That's going to be a hot pickup for whoever the fuck gets their hands on it.
Well, it makes sense if Disney buys it, because ESPN, you're gonna play SmackDown and Raw or whatever, and the other thing they got going on. Where
the WWE network is
it's huge,
fucking endless value.
You bring in the network in through ESPN Plus, right? Yeah. And now all those memberships are going to go into ESPN Plus, and when you're an ESPN Plus guy, you're going to get the UFC and all the other sports and different things that ESPN Plus has, and I think there's even a package for Hulu and everything else. In
the States they've got like fucking everything going on in that package.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we'll find out more in the coming weeks, I'm sure, about that. We'll find out what the fate of the WWE is, but that is wild. What a time. What a fucking wild time this is.
2020, baby.
Just nuts. Speaking of nuts, Fallout 76, the patch that they put out, or not the patch, well, it was like a patch and a content release and a bunch of other stuff rolled into one, resulted in a bug where NPCs can now loot players' bodies. Meaning if you get killed by something out there, the NPCs just strolling along can loot your corpse and take all of your shit, and there's no way for you to get it back.
That sounds
exactly like Fallout 76.
More Fallout 76. Why not?
Yeah. It's, it's fucking Fallout 76, and people are still buying it, and they're still making money on it. It's just one of those fucking things. You can't keep the Fallout fans down. They will just keep coming back. Nintendo has plans to produce 22 million more Switch consoles thanks to thanks to the crazy demand that's happening right now to try and meet that demand. And just for reference, they have already sold to this point 52 million consoles since the Switch release. So they're producing almost half of the already sold consoles in the hopes to meet the current demand thanks to Space Godzilla. It's a lot of consoles.
It's a whole lot of consoles. At least people won't have to spend $800 on a Switch.
Yes, ideally, that would be good. They put a statement out there like, we understand that shit's gone tits up out there and we're trying to get consoles out as fast as we can, but, it's going to take some time. One does not simply crank out 22 million consoles overnight. Takes some time. Oh my God, we haven't had a chance to talk about Twitch and their policies in at least 2 podcasts. It finally happened, Jeff. After what has to be 5+ instances of blatant TOS violations, Alinity got banned. It happened, Jeff. It happened.
It was only a temporary thing, right?
Yeah, I'm getting to there. You don't ruin my joke. I'm setting it up. The joke's coming. So she's doing her fucking stream thing, her usual whatever fucking bullshit, humping a whale on camera, whatever the fuck she was doing at the time, I don't fucking know. Anyway, she was trying to put a pillow or something up, I don't know what game she was doing, into her shirt, and she had a Janet Jackson wardrobe malfunction. I gotta be real, she didn't look particularly upset about it happening, but then again, she hadn't been talked about in the news for a while, and so I'm just of the mindset at this point that she knows she's only going to get a slap on the wrist at best. It's like massive free promotion everywhere for a while, including us talking about it right now, and then everyone's, Alinity's on the lips of thousands of Twitter users for 72 hours. So that happens. Everyone's like, well, is this it? Are we finally going to do it? Well, it wasn't the cat yeet. It wasn't the cat vodka. It wasn't the fucking whatever endless list of shit that she's done for years. Is this finally it? And then Twitch came down and said, yes, Alinity is banned. And everyone was clapping in the background, like some golf claps were happening. Everyone was very pleased. Some of them were probably not golf claps. They were probably something else. And then, not barely, and I mean barely, fucking 20, it was like 24 hours and 4 minutes and like some fucking seconds because there's a Twitter bot or a Twitter bot for this to say who's banned when and when they come back. She gets unbanned and is back out into the wilderness once more to continue her Alinity shenanigans. So, and then everyone was like, well, fuck, what did we expect? What do you...
Well, I saw the, the clip on Twitter or whatever. And my point of view is pretty simple. My point of view is she should have been banned a long time ago. Just because the reason why a lot of people are upset is because people have gotten banned for way less, like way less, like infinitely.
People have
less.
gotten banned for sports bras and workout streams in a public gym.
Yeah. And we're not going to go over all that because I don't even want to give.
Well, we already have. We don't have to.
Yeah, we've already gone through.
Yeah.
The whole nipple slip thing.
No.
It actually did look like a genuine mistake. Like I don't believe for a minute she purposely did that for any publicity or anything. And do I think that that's the thing that should get her banned? No. You know, how many times have people slipped up and you've seen something that you shouldn't have seen, or even in IRL streams, people, you see things, and we've seen it all the time before. Should it be the 24 or 48 hour ban that she had? Absolutely. The biggest problem is that should have been like at least a third or a fourth offense that she's done. Thus, that nipple slip might have been the thing that actually got her banned, even though it's not in my opinion,
the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back.
Like, I'm not gonna play conspiracy theorist and say she did it on purpose. I think that's stupid, and I watch it. I don't think that's it at all. And I don't think that should be the fucking straw that breaks the camel's back. I think ultimately what it is people are still outraged about the whole cat thing, and they should be. And I just think people are looking for Twitch to. I mean, at this point, Alinity can't even breathe the wrong way without people fucking literally going crazy, looking for a reason for her. Well,
because she should have been so many times before.
Exactly. That's what it is. But the reality is it didn't happen before. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
That's my point of view. I don't really care.
Yeah.
Dude, I see so much ridiculous shit that goes on in Twitch on a daily basis that at this point,
this is only news because of what you just this is only news because of what you just mentioned, not just because it's Alinity and it's like fucking wardrobe malfunction. Yeah. So much as that she has like I prefaced all this with, she has done so much before that was bannable offenses. Way beyond what other people have gotten banned for longer periods of time in the past, and I will put a tinfoil hat on. I'm gonna keep it 100. This is the same girl who sat down and said that she literally married a dude to get into the country, and as soon as she had her citizenship, said peace the fuck, and admitted that shit on stream. So if you think I'm not gonna put it past her that when the world stops talking the fuck about Alinity, I mean, how else does she think that that's gonna fucking go?
Okay, all
right,
with a
pillow.
Right. I don't even want to give her any more of this time. All right, I really don't care what Alinity does, whether she's banned or unbanned or
neither
on the
do
platform.
I just want Twitch to fucking stop giving her so much fucking leeway. It is insane. That's all I'm saying.
It's not even just her, bro. It's
others too, but it's just
I'm
fucking.
with you. I am.
Damn.
I'm with you. It's to the point where I just don't care anymore.
Horizon Zero Dawn is apparently set to be a trilogy, so we already know that there was going to have a sequel. We talked about that in here not long ago. We got announced, but now we know it's actually a trilogy, and it was written as such originally. But of course, with the first game selling over 10 million units, which is impressive for an exclusive to the PlayStation, and for a game that's a new IP, it's not even a previously existing property. They've greenlit the whole thing. Just said, fuck it, make us Guerrilla Games, make us all sorts of Horizon Zero Dawn. We want it, and we want to see more. We want to see more of it, and more of what you originally had in mind. Which apparently the original game was supposed to have co-op in it, much like we were talking about. Co-op is coming to the second game. It was originally supposed to be in the first, but they had to cut it for time. So they were building the combat out in the first game to be able to be cooperative and actually have people fight these massive ass robot dinosaur ass things together. If you play the game, if you play the game and you see like some of the weapons that they have, it seems obviously tooled to like these could be something that a co-op person could be using as like a support set of shit, and then somebody could be using stuff that's more damage specific for weak points, like the tie down shit. Like you can there's grappling hook tie downs to like you lock them down so they can't move as much, or they lock down certain body parts and fight it easier and things of that nature. So co-op made sense. So we're gonna see that. Apparently it's a trilogy. Apparently co-op was always going to be a thing, so people were a little concerned. They were like, are we just getting co-op because Sony was like, hey, we need online components to this game? According to the developers, no, that was originally going to be in it and just got cut for time. So yeah, the story is already basically all in place. All they're doing is sitting down and hammering it out. And interestingly enough, the second game started development almost immediately after the launch of the first. And was originally supposed to be out on PS4 during this generation, but they pumped the brakes, said, fuck that, let's dump this onto the next console because it's going to be in such a fucking tight window before the next console is released, and it's going to give them, obviously, all more the benefits of the next console because it's a bigger world, more open, and having the ability to load stuff faster and stream it in like these new consoles are going to be doing is going to be a monstrous upgrade from the PlayStation 4, and so thank God they're doing that. I would have hated to have seen a castrated version of Horizon Zero Dawn 2 because they were building it specifically for the PlayStation 4. That would have been bad. So that's exciting, because I love me some Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and now we know that we're going to get, I guess, a trilogy of sorts. And most likely, the last two games will be on the PlayStation 5 era of consoles, I would more than assume. Yes, in news that I didn't even know could possibly exist, Lizzo's Juice, the song that you couldn't not hear on the fucking radio for
sipping on gin and juice
weeks, just never fucking ended. Lizzo's Juice pulled from Rock Band, which I had to put in here in the notes. Rock Band is still a thing? Apparently they're still,
I didn't even know it was.
Apparently they're still putting out like downloadable tracks and shit for Rock Band. I had not a damn clue, but apparently they are. And it had to be pulled from Rock Band because it was discovered that the uncensored version was uploaded, which meant that for the people singing the track, they were required to drop an N-bomb.
Oh.
And there's a screenshot of this, if you can go, if you want to look it up, there is actually a screenshot of it where it's like the fucking like karaoke track. And it's there.
And there's an N-bomb on the screen.
It's not a hard R, it's like in the song, it's like because she doesn't use hard R, but it's still like, they were like, yeah, that should probably be the censored version. Let's take that down. So that got kind of
funny.
That got stripped. That got stripped off. Imagine just being one of the first people, and you're just like, you know, playing some Rock Band. You're like, oh, Juice. That's a song I've heard a million times before. Let's hop in on this bad boy. And you get to the chorus or some shit. You're like, oh, what the fuck?
Whoa! Is there any black people around? No. All right, let's go in and do this the right way. I'm dropping a hard.
Close the curtains. Shut the windows. Get everything. I'm gonna get my N-bombs in.
I'm gonna get my N-bombs in, boys.
Yeah. So that was a thing. The Last of Us Part 2. Oh look, dinner is served. There you go, sir. You have your
No, I got water here. Thanks.
So. So, The Last of Us Part 2, which we talked about the other week, where they awkwardly decided to put out a statement where they're like, yeah, we're just not going to release the game. We're not going to say when we're going to release it. We're just not going to release it as it was going to anymore because anyone's, like, the best guess was, you know, Space Godzilla was fucking with everyone. Not that they'd stopped, like, any other game from fucking launching, but here we are. So they did that. Everyone was super pissed, and I'm gonna say there was a disgruntled employee that was not particularly pleased about it, because not long after, spoiler fucking central, massive swaths of spoilers for The Last of Us 2 dropped all over social media. You can't fucking escape it. It's showing up on like unrelated posts. It's showing up everywhere. People are just spoiling this shit all over the internet. It includes stuff like relationships and the fate of certain characters and like the whole anything you wouldn't want to know before playing the game. It's out there right now. And so after that happened,
I didn't see anything, so
after that happened, the Naughty Dog came out and said, okay, well, the game's coming out in the summertime. It's coming out June, and so you try to your best to avoid spoilers, and don't worry if you get spoiled, because they actually said something like, don't worry if you get spoiled, because it will still totally be worth the experience when it comes out in June. And so I was just...
Really? Don't worry about getting spoiled, guys. It's so great.
It's okay. The game is so good.
Yeah.
It's so good that you don't need to worry about it. Just play it anyway.
Yikes.
Bro, what the fuck why didn't they just release the fucking game when it was supposed to come out?
I'm not gonna lie, man. The hype for The Last of Us has died down a lot.
Well, if it wasn't dead already, it's definitely dead now. I mean, the whole fucking plot is on the internet right now, circulating, and so I mean, if it wasn't already dead,
the game wasn't ready. Maybe it just wasn't ready. Who knows? Maybe that's it. It just wasn't.
But
ready.
It was already like, I mean, they announced that it wasn't launching like a couple weeks before the launch. There's no like that would have already been gold and printed and fucking like
unless they needed a fix. Like an update fix.
Like some kind of crazy ass like fucking 50 gig patch that wouldn't be ready until June. That's weird. But they just, I'm gonna be honest, they just fucked this whole thing right up. They fucked this whole thing. This game is not gonna sell as well as it was going to.
No, it's not.
And
it's still gonna sell well.
It's still gonna sell well, but it won't do as well as it was going to before. And this is all for what? I don't understand, but yeah, they fucked it up. Yeah, exactly. It had already gone gold. They just couldn't guarantee it would show up everywhere on time, and they couldn't just follow Square Enix's thing where you just send it out anyway, and if people get it early, then fuck it, whatever.
They fucked up.
They fucked up, and they're gonna pay the price. And the employees who we talked about with The Last of Us 2 were under like crazy pressure and an insane crunch. Yeah. And probably going to get bonuses based on how well the game sells, would be my guess. Having this not be released and then having everyone sitting at home unemployed, not making any money, waiting for bonuses and shit to roll in, and the company goes, you know what? We're not going to release it. Some employee inside went, you know what? I'm going to release it. And so,
fuck it.
And so they did.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's a big yikes. So we'll see how that goes from from this standpoint. But yeah, definitely it will still sell well, but it is not going to do the numbers it would have originally, to say the least. PlayStation 5, their cooler patent was released online, and so we got to see. I think we might have talked briefly about this the other week. To a degree, but I took a look at the patent, and it's kind of interesting. It looks to me, I'm not, I can't decipher it that distinctly, or that well, but it looks to me like it's like a, well, you know what an air cooler looks like in a computer, right? As it is. Okay, so when it gets down to it, like heat pipes are eventually attaching to a cold plate, which is then like sitting on top of the chip. So this looks like, because it's obviously a console and they can make more custom shit, it looks like they're passing heat pipes down through the PCB of the board so that the heat pipe passes all the way through, which would get the heat pipes and everything closer to the chip itself, and not just the cap that would be traditionally on top of the processor. So, or on top, or any kind of coverings or heat spreaders on the board. So, I've never seen anything like it before, and I'll be very intrigued as to how it does for cooling. We know it has to do a really, really fucking good job, though, because when Dana Carvey did his presentation several weeks back, and he talked about their methodology for the graphics performance and the hard drive performance, and he mentioned that they were specifically relying on the boost clock to provide like these bursts of really high performance. What everyone's immediate concern was, especially because he even talked about thermal throttling being a thing they had to take into consideration. And so, whatever this cooler is, it's going to have to be a fucking monolithic piece of equipment because they are relying heavily on running this chip boosted to accomplish the spec that the console is aiming for. Whereas we talked about last week, the Xbox took more of a let's build in big hardware, but let's not push it so hard that the heat just goes through the roof. Let's dial it back a bit so the devs have like a known quantity of performance that they have access to versus something where it will boost for a bit and then drop down and then boost for a bit and then drop down, or worse, heat up and then drop lower. So we have no idea what the fuck. Too long didn't read. Tech is always a too long didn't read from Jeff's face every time. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, what it really comes down to is just it's an interesting new cooler that nobody's really done anything like it before that I'm aware of, and we'll have to wait and see if it actually aids in the performance the PS5 is trying to put out. Otherwise, we could be looking at a situation where games run even worse than they intended them to, is the point here. It will depend on this cooler if the PS5 is dog shit or not for performance, is basically what I'm saying. So we'll wait and see more when Sony releases literally anything about the console. Which I think is, 6 months away from release now?
It ain't happening in 6 months. I already told you this. Didn't I already tell you it's not happening this year?
Well, by the way they're not releasing any information, it certainly doesn't look like they're going to. That's for sure.
Dude, the whole world is blowing up right now, bro. Do you think we're gonna get a new console release like this?
Just fucking. Well, they said themselves they're gonna go through with it, so it's just weird to me that they're being so tight-lipped with all their shit. Deadly Premonition 2 got announced as well for a release on July 10th, and that is the sequel to the game, actually one of the games Brian and I played for Shitty Games Done Slow this year, which is technically a really, really shitty game, but the characters and story are fucking really good, and the plot twists and stuff in it are awesome, and it's like, the best way that people tend to describe it is like Twin Peaks, the TV show. It's like that, the video game, and so it's really good. So if you just have to suffer through the fact that as a video game it's fucking bad, but like but the characters and everything are so fucking so good that you almost don't get me wrong, we still played it for Shitty Games Done Slow. This is a game that you will absolutely struggle bus to drag yourself through from a gameplay perspective. But
it's entertaining.
But at the end of the day, if you're into that kind of a story, like if Twin Peaks is a thing that you're into, then you will like this game. And this is the follow-up. Right. And it's coming to the Switch, and it looks still like a pile of assholes. It looks fucking terrible. Looks like a game from 3 generations ago. But
nothing wrong with that. It's on the Switch. It's okay.
But will it be as good as the last game? I have no idea. I'm really interested because with how the last game ends, or the first game ends, I don't fucking know how they make a sequel. I don't know where the story goes. It's like that. Again, it would be like making a sequel to Twin Peaks. It doesn't make any fucking sense. So we'll have to wait and see just how that pans out. Also, what got announced this week, a Nier Replicant remaster, which is like the game that came before
Nier Automata or whatever, or Automata or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was one from before, and it's getting redone. I think they said they got the same voiceover people, but they're re-recording the stuff to bring it back up. You know, you get fancier equipment and shit, and you got to make it sound fancier. So it's being brought up, and I think they also mentioned that they're shifting the combat and updating the combat to closer to like Nier Automata. So it's basically like they took Nier Automata and they're applying that to the game that came before to bring that up because Automata was such a success. Why not apply that to the previous game? Everyone seems to be super fucking happy about it. So thumbs up. If you're into Nier, you're going to be very pleased to hear that news.
All right.
And stuff that kind of took me by surprise, Assassin's Creed Valhalla was teased at first. They had one of the art folks live stream the shit on YouTube for like 8 hours of them doing like a poster or a promo thing or whatever the fuck for the game. And then it went further and further. And then today, only a few hours ago, like 4 hours ago, they released the cinematic trailer on YouTube for this game. And so we're going to give that a little peeksy peek.
Okay.
We'll get ready to pull that up. I'm just going to put
I haven't been interested in Assassin's Creed in
a hot minute. Yeah, me either.
A hot minute.
It has been a hot minute. 1 sec while I just get this stuff all ready to go. I've got this pulled up already.
Dude, this is a 4-minute trailer.
It is a 4-minute trailer. Are you ready?
My body's ready.
Your body's ready? All right, 1 second. Put this over here. And 3, 2, 1, let's go. Xbox logo is the one that's being shown.
They are heartless.
They're heartless, Jeff.
I got the closed captioning on. Intense music playing. That's what it says.
I mean, it is.
Godless barbarians.
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I'm watching the CG version of the show Vikings. Right now.
Yes, it even looks like it actually
The character looks...
That is Vikings.
Are we sure that's not Bjorn Ironside right now?
And is that not his village?
Is that not, what was it called? Starts with a C. Oh, I can't remember, but it looks exactly like that.
It looks identical.
England. Lands they will never defend, never love. The time has come.
Oh, there is the
speak to
English
them
king.
in a language they will understand.
Catechit or something like that, I think it was called. Good cinematic though. I mean, quality-wise, it looks good. Dude, this even sounds like the intro music to the fucking series.
It does.
What? This dude!
Bro,
this is just Vikings! The video game!
Vikings might actually sue these motherfuckers.
Holy shit, this is weird!
Oh my god, dude, this is legit Vikings.
Wow!
I think I've seen this exact scene on Vikings. And that exact scene on Vikings.
Holy shit! Oh my lord. That probably stung. By the way, if you haven't watched Vikings, the TV show, you should probably do that. I haven't watched the latest season, but at the very least, the first few seasons are unadulterated fire.
It's a good show.
Okay, no, this is actually just... This is actually just Vikings. Oh my god!
Jesus.
Wow! I mean, if you're gonna do Vikings true to life, and the show did that too, I guess there's only so many directions you can take that. But I mean, this really does look like the show. Like I said, I don't need my knee.
That guy a giant?
Oh, the guy's fucking him right up. Well, you had to wait for the one Assassin's Creed related thing that he could get his hands on. The Hidden Blade.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, available holiday 2020.
Dude, the only thing on that screen right now is Xbox Series X, Xbox One, and that's the show. There is nothing else.
I mean, yeah, it's a cool cinematic. I mean, it was basically a shot for shot at Vikings, which is not a bad thing.
No.
But there's no gameplay. There's no.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a cinematic. It's a cinematic trailer. We'll have gameplay at some point. But obviously, just from a visual perspective, that actually just I didn't watch the whole thing before, but that was my first time watching it through. That just straight up looked like Vikings, the TV show, almost shot for shot.
It did. Yes.
That
was Vikings.
Wow. Which I guess if you're going to copy something, you might as well go all the way. So they went through all of that, and then at the very end, they were like, here's a hidden blade on a Viking, and now here we are. So, fucking Assassins, Vikings. So to go back to what you said before, you haven't been invested in an Assassin's Creed game in a hot minute, neither have I. And a question that I posed on Twitter earlier today was, let's see if I can just pull that up real quick to remind myself. I said, so I guess my question is, at what point is it no longer Assassin's Creed and it instead is just another action game? The last one was borderline for me, and this looks like it may even further be, or it might even be further flung from the core concept. And I was asking for thoughts from those who are still playing the series. And the valid points about, you obviously, you don't expect them to continue to just do walk through the streets, rooftop assassinations and shit for 14 games. But then I guess my question is, do you, because I haven't played them, I guess my question is, have they really explored what's supposed to be on the outside world, like that Abstergo, whatever corporation shit? Like, did we really get, because if we have, and that's all played out, then Assassin's Creed is just fucking done. Just make a fucking Viking game. That looks dope as fuck. Just make a Viking game. You don't need to call it Assassin's Creed by just making an entire Viking scene and then putting a fucking hidden blade on.
They're doing this to sell copies. They're making different games, but they're just keeping the same sort of formula so that people keep buying these games. That's pretty much it.
Is Assassin's Creed as a name after the shit show that it went through for 3 straight games really selling games on its own now? Like, is the name alone selling copies?
Look at the likes to dislike ratio on the video. People are obviously enjoying the shit. So it is what it is. It looks cool. I'll give them that. I mean, it's definitely a period piece that I'm interested in.
I mean, Vikings is obviously for games. Vikings is obviously a very it's an easy concept. It's fucking like Savage War, crazy bullshit. It's God of War, basically.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, we'll wait and see what the gameplay is like. I do have more information in regards to that, though, is that apparently, where do I have that? So that was the trailer. It has been confirmed that it will run at 4K on the Series X. So that game will run, and they didn't say upscaled 4K or anything. Right now, it's the assumption that 4K. No, we don't know if that's 4K 60, 4K 30, what that is, but it will be 4K on the Series X. And if you buy, let's say you have an Xbox One right now and the game comes out and you can't get your hands on a Series X, if you buy a copy for the Xbox One and you play it and or you just have it for a time and then you get your hands on a Series X, it will automatically upgrade itself to the Series X version when you put it into the new console. So you don't have to buy it twice. You can buy it ahead of time, and you'll have it. And if you want to upgrade to the Series X, then it will do that for you. So there you go. And I also just found it interesting that it didn't list PC, it didn't list PlayStation, it didn't list shit. All you saw at the bottom of that trailer was the Xbox logo and the Series X logo and the Xbox One logo, and that was the show. So that was intriguing to me. Because
now in the description it says Assassin's Creed Valhalla available holiday 2020 on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia.
So it is coming to more. Obviously, it wouldn't be an exclusive, but it was interesting to me that the trailer itself was just promoting the Series
Xbox.
X. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, for me, just to wrap it up, if they make an Assassin's Creed, I don't care what form it comes in, if it's called Assassin's Creed or a Creed's ass or whatever the fuck it's called, if the game looks good and it plays well, dope.
Cool.
I'm in.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
The Reginator. Reggie Fils-Aimé, the man, the myth, the legend, announced a new podcast called Talking Games with Reggie and Harold. It's a hell of a title. That sees himself and journalist Harold Goldberg talking about video games, believe it or not, as the title would imply. The podcast is specifically, actually, it's got a GoFundMe, and it's specifically to raise money for, and this goes towards the New York Video Game Critics Circle and their nonprofit mentoring work that they do amid all of this Space Godzilla pandemic stuff. So
I love how you have typed in Space Godzilla pandemic.
That's right. It's a running gag now. It's the Space Godzilla is a running gag now. So we've got that coming. That sounds interesting. I'd love to hear, Reggie talk about fucking games now that he's not just specifically tied to Nintendo. I would love to hear his thoughts about gaming in general. Now that he doesn't only have to talk about amiibos in every Nintendo trailer that gets released. So I might actually dip my toes in on that one and give it a little listen. Might be kind of fun to listen to. Fuck, everything falling apart here. There we go. Next up, Microsoft. Oh yeah, Microsoft released some interesting facts. As we are getting more and more info out of them, I'm telling you, I will suck Microsoft's dick right now. These guys are doing a good job of releasing in like a good pace. It's just positive news, good marketing, positive news. I don't know how the fuck they're going to keep it up for another 6 months, but up to this point, crushing it.
Keep going.
They keep that magic going. They announced that they are currently sitting at Xbox Live 90 million active monthly users, which is pretty fucking good given how questionable the Xbox One's lifespan has been. Also, that Game Pass, which is bar none the most value in the entire gaming industry right now, 10 million subscribers, which is a pretty big fucking number.
That is big.
And I suspect that number only going to go up with the current, where everyone is locked in at home. And I bet you when the Series X drops and people are picking that up, and they give maybe people like few months, like 3 month, they'll probably give people like a 3 month pass when they buy the console, or a 6 month pass or something like that, and they get a taste of it. Bro, the subscription rate for Game Pass is probably gonna fucking
go up.
Explode. And then lastly, Project xCloud, their streaming game streaming service that has been in preview now for quite some time. We talked about it in the past as well. They've opened it up, the preview up to the point where they now have hundreds of thousands of active users in their preview program for Project xCloud. So, and that is something that I'm also interested in seeing them talk more about, but I suspect we won't see too much more until the Series X is out, because those two things are going to go hand in hand pretty well. And the last piece of information Xbox related that they talked about today was in relation to us talking about Phil Spencer discussing that he was like, I hear you guys. You want to hear games. You want to see games. We got that coming for you. Well, now they have the date. Next Thursday, of course it's a Thursday, because fuck us. May the 7th, they've got an event lined up to show off a bunch of games from in-house and their partners. So we'll be seeing Series X related games next Thursday. But I think, if we're lucky, if I'm not mistaken, the time slot for it, I think we will be able to get it in before the podcast in terms of watching it. So if we're lucky, I'll at least get eyes on, and we'll be able to talk about the games that we see during that event. But that's exciting because
it's nice to see something.
Other than the Assassin's Creed cinematic we just watched, and then that really generic-ass game that PlayStation 5 showed off,
that I've already forgot about.
Godfall or whatever the fuck it was called, we haven't seen any real next console-gen games yet, so this will be like kind of the first look at that. Oh, and then there was like that trailer also that during E3 for Xbox Series X, that was the sequel to... Fuck, I can't remember the one, but it was like that tribal thing that was kind of unsettling to watch kind of shit. I can't remember the name of it now. Anyway, there was one other. So yeah, that will be fun to see. But that's all I got for gaming news, Jeff, which means it's time. And I know you've been preparing it for a long time now because you're wearing your King of Donair shirt right now. It's time to sell out.
Patreon.com/LegTV. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, make sure to head on over there. Show some love, sprinkle some love over there. Even just $1 helps out. Hey, if you can't afford to donate to the podcast, it's free to hit that like button. It's free to share the podcast with a friend or social media or whatever. And leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can leave a review that you're currently watching. That actually goes a long way. And also got to give a shout out to our sponsors. We're gonna start off with Elgato today. If you ain't got a Stream Deck, it's time. All right, we've been talking about this now for a few months. You haven't pulled the trigger yet. It's that time. All right, link in the description below. You click on that bad boy. You go check out the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck can be used for all sorts of things. It's one big hotkey hub. If you guys haven't already checked it out, go check it out.
Hotkey Hub is actually a subsidiary of Pornhub.
Oh, there you go. And you can hotkey the Hotkey Hub and Pornhub on your Elgato Stream Deck.
All at the same time.
All at the same time. Not only that, if you're not in the market for one, which you should be, because a lot of people don't even know that they need one in their lives. It's one of those devices that when you get it, you go, why didn't I have this sooner? That's just pretty much it. Like even if you only use it for like two specific things and it just makes your life a lot easier, you're gonna go, damn, what it the best thing that I could put the Elgato, and this isn't even me selling out, this is just facts. All right. The best way I could put the Elgato Stream Deck is the same sort of feeling that I got when I first got my second monitor. When I plugged the second monitor in, and for many years, it's just one monitor. You get a second monitor set up, and everybody knows what I'm talking about, where you go, whoa.
You didn't know you needed
it. I didn't know I needed it, but damn. And it's one of those things, too, where you're like, dude, I don't need all this canvas. I don't need all this space and all these monitors. I would just never use it.
Yes,
then
you do.
You find something to use it, and you're like, damn, I should have done this a long time ago. That is basically what the Stream Deck does. Is even though you're not 100% sure on what exactly you use it, you'll find something, you go, oh my God, this is a quality of life improvement for my computer experience tenfold.
Now, Jeff, got a question for you. Maybe you can help me out.
All right.
You know, during this time of Space Godzilla and everyone's in the work from home life, Zoom, they're taking all of my information. But that's okay because I don't have a choice because my work decided that that's going to be the platform that we use to telecommute on a daily basis whenever we still have to do those meetings that could have just been emails. And, I got to look like I actually give a shit and not just sit around in my underwear all the time. And it's been difficult, but, making it work. However, to keep my sanity, I've been locking myself in a dungeon for days on end, and there's not a lot of light down there. And when I turn the webcam on, that's still from 2004 because Logitech hasn't updated anything really in about 15, 20 years. Could you help me out with that?
You know what? I think I can. Just give me a sec. A little old. I got food on me. You know what? You know what you need in your life?
What's that?
You need an Elgato key light.
Mm.
It's simple. It's easy to set up. Literally, it's actually already set up for you in the box. You basically got to screw this little thing into a light, and you're done.
Wow.
It sits at the back of your computer, and it makes the lighting beautiful. It's just really that. And you only need one. You don't even need two. You only need one. Look at this guy here in the back. He's just having a good time with his light. Oh, he has two of them. He's getting fancy.
You know what he needs next? The Elgato posture corrector. Because he's El gotta get one. He's El gotta get one of those. Because that's some of the worst posture I've ever seen.
Hey, who needs good posture when you've got good lighting? You know what I'm saying?
It's true. It makes up for
You know
it.
what I'm saying? So yeah, go check them out. Big shout out to Elgato for their continued support of the podcast. And last but not least, we have got NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN service, it's time. Once again, what are you waiting for?
There's never been a better time.
There's actually never been a better time. You sign up on a 3-year term. You ain't gonna have to worry about this for another 3 years. 70% off. I got a promo code for you. 70% off.
For me?
Promo code OTT. Yeah, for you too.
Wow.
Everybody. 70% off. I'm like Oprah of codes. Just everybody's getting 70% off. Just look under your chair. In fact, look underneath the description of this video and you're going to see it. Or you can go to nordvpn.com/OTT. Use that promo code, 70% off. Stay safe. Stay anonymous on the internet. You can use it via desktop app, on your cell phone, on your smart TV, on a laptop, on really any device. You can stay anonymous and safe. Or if you're watching something like Netflix and you want to check out what other regions of Netflix have to offer, because not every region's the same because of licensing and all this other stuff that they got going on, you can quickly change by just one click. It's super easy. You don't have to be some sort of hacker or some sort of genius to switch to mask your IP. It's one button. You can choose from many different servers in many different countries. You just say, you know what, I want to watch the US Netflix and I'm Canadian. Boom, I'm from Chicago.
Hey,
there it is.
Look, you're using Zoom, and maybe you want Zoom to not know that you're actually in a suburb of Delaware, and instead you want them to know that you're on the island of Fiji.
You can do that.
You can do that.
You can do that by one click of a button. That is the show. Not only that, there's tons of stuff on the internet that is region locked depending on where you are. There's a lot of censorship on the internet these days. If you're from China, you got that great China firewall that doesn't let you basically on the internet. You can bypass that. The VPN even works there. The servers are super fast. You can even game on them. You can stream and game on them at the same time. And not only that, guys, it's a 30-day money-back guarantee, which means if you use it and you're not getting the speeds you thought you were going to get, if you're just not using it the way you envisioned yourself using it, or it's just not doing it for you, you can get your money back, no questions asked, within 30 days, and no harm, no foul. So go check them out. They're a big supporter of our stream, of our podcast. The more you support them, the more they support us. So not only do you get an awesome VPN service, but you also are supporting the podcast as well. So it's a win-win for everybody. So with that, go check them out. NordVPN, promo code OTT.
Boom.
And with that, we got movies and TV.
Kevin Hart, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy, and Billy Crystal aren't just all people that you haven't heard about in a long time. They're actually all getting together to team up with Funny or Die to do a live streaming comedy event to raise money in support of hunger relief in the U.S. The event will be on comedy.tv, the Weather Channel, which is where I go for all of my comedy, and the free service app Local Now from 8 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time on Saturday, May the 9th. So if you're looking for a little laughy, ha-ha, hoo-hoo, and any of those names sound like people that you might actually laugh about, check it out. Weather Network. It's the primo location for all of my comedy needs.
Comedians. I mean, I could do without Adam Sandler and Billy Crystal, but
just get rid of the white guys.
And I can really do without Kevin Hart, to be honest with you. But
Just give. So what you're saying is, just give me Chris Rock and Eddie Murphy, and axe everyone else.
I'm in.
There you go.
Throw Dave Chappelle in there, and I'm in.
There you go. Actually, just give me Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, give me 3 hours of Dave Chappelle, and I'll throw money at whatever charity you want me to throw money at.
I'll turn on the Weather Network for the first time in like 10 years. Watch me some Dave Chappelle. Resident Evil Netflix show is apparently set to follow Wesker's teenage daughters as they uncover a conspiracy, which sounds vaguely familiar to the last Wolfenstein game's plot. Also, It sounds like ass.
Yes. Nobody asked for this.
No.
I don't want it. I'm not going to watch it, but hey.
That's the best. Of all the series they could come up with, they went with the daughters of Albert Wesker going on a conspiracy fucking hunt. Really? That was the best they had? Where do writers get paid for this? I'm in the wrong business. If all I knew that I needed to do was do copious amounts of hallucinogenics and just get fucked up, go in a room, use my opposite hand, and scrawl out some sort of weird fucking script over the course of 45 to 57 seconds and hand it to the nearest executive for them to greenlight? Shit, I'm in the wrong business. But that sounds exactly what just happened here. For whatever the shit that is.
Yeah,
coincidentally,
I'm gonna be honest.
That's the exact process that the last couple of chapters of Final Fantasy VII Remake went through. So maybe they've got the same writers.
I really don't understand how writers can be so shitty and shit just gets approved. I don't. But hey, it is what it is. At
least in the 90s when they did that shit, it turned out to be entertaining. Because in the 90s, it was actually hallucinogenics. Yeah, but it was
campy. Yeah, it was campy and shit. Now it's just like, they're so serious about it. It's bad.
Yeah, now it's like they're writing campy material, but they don't want you to take it as they want you to take it seriously.
Serious. Yeah, I can't take this serious.
Yeah, you can't fucking do that shit.
And the thing is like, it's worse now too, because some TV has gotten really fucking good. Like really, really good.
Better than most movies.
Yes, and the bar has been set extremely high for what people want to watch and the quality that of what people want to watch. There's so much shit out there that, like, in order for you to watch what's out there, you really need to be good.
Yeah,
like there's so much TV, I physically can't watch it all. Like,
unless you're Adam Sandler, at which point you can make whatever you want for Netflix and it will be watched millions of times over.
He's like an anomaly. I don't even know how that guy makes the type of money he makes, but hey, he knows,
at least Uncut Gems. At least Uncut Gems was good.
Yeah, that was actually
like legitimately good.
But his comedies are bad.
Oh, just awful.
They're just awful.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to watch it. So unless I hear the show is the second coming of Christ,
I just don't know.
I ain't watching it.
And I don't know how that's supposed to be.
I'm just tired of the same old regurgitated shit all the time. I'm tired of origin stories. I'm tired of visiting the same characters. I'm just tired. And to be honest, I'm just tired of zombie shit too. Like the shit is
I've been over zombies for 10 years and I'm still seeing them. Like, I don't know how we're still like, it comes and goes in waves, but it never even but it never completely drops out. Like, some genres completely die away and then come back like decade later or more. Zombies, they don't die out. They just take like a small little dip and then hang out in the middle somewhere, and then they come back, and then all you have is zombies for like another 2 years.
This is so whack, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking whack.
Anyway.
Next up, Disney attempts to claim your hashtag May the 4th tweets and then doesn't actually have any legal grounds to do so. But it's Disney. So, maybe if they don't get their way, they'll just buy Twitter and get it over with and then make their own rules.
Sounds plausible.
What? The social media platform won't allow me to lock down fucking hashtags that I want to at any given time? Shit, better buy them. This is fucking weird. Only Disney would try and fucking like lock up a hashtag. It's just so fucking primo Disney. This is very weird. They just want to own the world, bro. They want everything. They want everything.
They just
bro.
want to control everything.
They just want to control everything. AMC, who is in no position to fucking do this, but they're doing it anyway, apparently is no longer going to show any Universal Studios movies since they are going to direct to streaming for future titles.
All right, so
do you have more information on this that doesn't sound as salacious?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, hook me up.
When you read it like that, it's fake news.
Sounds bad.
But,
all right, give me the real news.
All right, the real news is this: because of Trolls and how well it did, the $90 million fucking
what we discussed
opening
the other
and all
week,
this, which we discussed a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
The CEO came out and said, because of the success that Trolls had going direct to rent, which I think is called like I think it's called like PO. I don't know what it's called, but anyway, to rent. It's like a premium to rent or whatever. It's basically you get 48 hours, and it's usually like $20 or $24.99, depending on the movie. You can rent it. What they are doing, or what the CEO said, is for some of their movies, they are going to be releasing it on digital for rent and theater at the same time. And AMC came out and said
that was a thing we were discussing last week as being a distinct possibility because of that success.
Yes. And so of course, the amount of money they made, they're going, okay, well, fuck, we'll just do both.
Yeah.
But AMC came out and said, no, you're not. That's actually not going to happen. And the reason why, and it's a pretty big deal, is because there's a thing called the theatrical window.
Okay.
And it is a spoken, and really it's an unspoken publicly, but it is a known thing that movies, when they hit the theater, there is a theatrical window, which is basically a grace period where they cannot release that movie that goes into theaters on Blu-ray DVD for 90 days after the movie hits theaters, or to digital, I think it's like 47 or 49 days after it reaches movie theaters.
Okay.
Now, the reason why is because the movie theaters need to make their money, and the movie theaters also allow the movie companies to show their movie in the best possible atmosphere and light to create an experience, because going to the movie theater is an experience. You go to IMAX, you're paying for an experience. Really, you go to any theater, and it makes it so that when people leave, they want to go and buy the movie when it comes out. They want to go rewatch it. They want to do all these different things. And it's been like that for like 100 years. Like, no, there's a reason why you never see it, Adam. Like, there's a reason why movies.
I know.
Yeah.
I understand. Is it on a piece of paper somewhere?
Oh, I'm sure it is. And if it isn't, it doesn't matter, because the reality is those are the rules. Those are straight up the unsacred rules. It's like, I'm not going to go over and fuck my buddy's wife. You know what I'm saying? Because we're boys.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a dick. It's like, you just don't do it. And so essentially what Universal was saying is, hey guys, don't worry. If you don't want to go to the theater, we're going to give you the experience so you can do it at home. Well, AMC came out, which is the biggest movie chain in the world with over like 1,000 theaters. And they said, if they do that, then, because they can't stop them, and the only reason why they allowed digital for this is because of the pandemic. So, and they still didn't like it. Theaters still didn't like what they're doing. That's why a lot of these movies are just being delayed. They're not going right to digital. There's a fine line. And the reality is Universal cannot, and I repeat, they cannot afford to lose AMC for all their theaters. And here's the other thing. NATO, which is the national, I'll get it right here.
It's got to be a different NATO than I'm thinking of.
It is. It's not. A sec here. NATO. So NATO is the National Association of Theater Owners. They also made a statement because this is the theatrical window is like sacred to the point where most people that are listening to this podcast, they probably don't even know and never heard of the term theatrical window before. That's how like behind the scenes and the way that Hollywood and stuff works. They came out and said, no, that's also not going to happen. So on top of that, Regal just announced that they're also not going to show any Universal movies in any of their theaters.
So NATO is just essentially a glorified fucking union.
It's a union. It's a union for
theaters to make sure that the inflated nature of theaters that has been riding on a really thin fucking revenue line for ages that is now getting dumpstered is realizing that they have no power unless they all gather together, because the realities of shit going forward is they won't be able to sell popcorn for $5,000 to make up for the fact that their licensing that they get for each of these movies, they barely ever break even, but they just keep on going as they have for and continue to grow at really stupid pace for decades, is what I'm hearing right now. I'm hearing this is a theater problem.
Well, it's also a Hollywood problem, because the thing is it's not just the theater. The movies, the like Universal, any of these guys, Disney, they need the theaters. They just straight up need them. Because the thing is, if for example, imagine I don't know, Avengers goes right direct. They're not making $3 billion, $2 billion. They're just not. I mean, it's just the reality of it. They're just not doing it. So you know what that ultimately means, and I'm going to sound like an asshole here. You know what that ultimately means? It means that Iron Man doesn't make $50 million to do a movie anymore. That's true, but it also means that there's a lot of people that don't see the movies as well.
But does it?
It does. Yeah, absolutely.
So people are just, if it doesn't go to a theater, people are just going to choose to never watch it?
Yes, and I'm actually one of those people. If I typically don't see a movie in theaters, I typically don't watch the movie. And certain movies are really theater experiences. They're not.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that theaters should just disappear. But what I'm arguing is that this seems like an unhealthy, unbalanced relationship where the theaters have been uncontractually stiff-arming for nearly a century to hold a position where they can continue to grow their businesses with reckless abandon and have no kickback from the studios producing the movies, with the understanding that if they don't obey this unwritten fucking rule where everyone cut their hands open, jizzed into them, and then fucking shook hands 80 years ago, that suddenly the studios are fucked. And so this is more of a chicken and the egg situation for me, where it's like, who really needs who more here? Who came first? And then who needs who more?
Well, they need each other. That's the thing. And that's the reason why they've worked together in harmony for so long, is they both need each other to succeed.
Is that really harmony if Universal goes, we need to do this right now, but they're still going to go, you know what? You need to, but we still don't want you to do it. Because you're going to get a taste of the reality of releasing Trolls to $90 million in an opening weekend, and then you're going to notice that you can actually make a lot of money without going with us right out of the gate.
Yes. And what Universal did was, and they made a statement to AMC, and now Regal's backing it, and now NATO's backing it, where they went publicly and said this without going to the board, without speaking to any of the theaters. And it's a slap in the face to the theaters. It's a big form of distrust. They need each other, whether you want to believe it or not. They just do. And the theaters are just going to say, hey, you're not going to do it. And the reality is Trolls made a lot of money, but let's keep it real. We're also in a pandemic. It's a children's movie, which means parents are trying to just get their kids to shut up for a couple hours. If this, for example, was, I don't know, what's a movie that just came out? No movie just came out. If this was John Wick, right? It's not making $90 million at home. It's just not. It's just not. John Wick is going to make more money in theaters than what it will being released on digital, period. So it was like the perfect storm. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't money to be made. Universal would definitely make more money if they went on both, but it's a huge slap in the face to the theaters that need audiences to be driven into the theaters so they can have businesses, they can continue to show
that they can have businesses as big as they are now.
Exactly. And the movie companies need them so they can continue to make billions of dollars at the box office. Disney had like 12 or 13 movies in the $1 billion mark. And it wouldn't happen without the movie theaters. It just wouldn't. Some of them, possibly, the really, really big ones, possibly. But the reality is the theaters are saying, no, it's not going to happen. And Universal has already came out and backtracked a little bit and said, oh, well, that's not really what we meant. And they understand the shitstorm that they're in. And the craziest part about it is AMC has theaters in Universal Studios, of all places. So it's a very awkward thing. There's been they've worked with each other for a very, very long time. And there's a reason why Disney doesn't do this, even though they have Disney Plus, their name is big, they can distribute it the way they want to, is because the reality is no matter how cynical you want to be about the theaters or about the movie business, they need each other. And yes, I agree with you. The more digital and the stuff we can do at home, the better for the consumer. Options is better. But the reality is the theater experience can only continue if all of the publishers, all of these companies agree to continue to do business the way that they were doing business before. And I actually like the fact that Regal and AMC put their foot down and said, no, because also I want to go and experience Universal's movies in theater. I want to go watch Jurassic Park in theaters.
There's literally nothing other than the theater stopping you from doing that. Because the thing that we talked about last week, one of the points that we both made last week is that just like the piracy argument, releasing it onto digital at the same time as it's in the theater and assuming that that's going to have some sort of absolutely astronomical impact on theater goers is that it assumes that people wherever that get it digitally at home because they don't want to go to the theater to see it or they're not interested in the
they just wait in the money. Right? They have to wait. They have to wait.
That's fine, but it assumes that they were ever going to go to the theater in the first place. It's the piracy fallacy. It's somebody that pirates the movie. It assumes that they were ever going to pay to see the movie in the first place. They may, and this has already been studied and shown. Is that for piracy anyway? That people. That largely, not everyone obviously, but the majority of people that are into that shit were never going to spend the money on the thing in the first place. And so the concept of that Universal putting out a fucking, what's a Universal movie? It's got like, is that they're Fast and Furious, right? So
yeah,
that Fast 28 coming out straight to fucking to streaming services at the same time that it goes into the theater. And I personally am sitting here going, do I want to, even with my setup, sit here and watch Fast 28 at home in my home theater, or go and see this on a big screen in a theater with the sound system and everything there? I'm going to go fucking spend the money and see it in the theater. I don't agree that this stiff-arming tactic and I don't disagree that they need each other. They need each other for where the industry is right now. But what I'm saying is that it is obviously, it's like everything is resting on a pinhead if the concept that releasing something to digital at the same time that it goes to the theater somehow takes away from the theater experience and the odds of a lot of people going to see blockbuster movies in theaters. I don't believe that for a fucking minute. There's going to be a portion of people that may, but if you think that, if anyone were to think that Star Wars is suddenly going to fucking die in the theater for people to watch Star Wars at home on their TV because it gets released at the same time, I think you're fucking high. Everyone's still going to go to the theater. Or the vast majority of people are still going to go to the theater. And then, worst case scenario, you lose a a subsection of this. But to me, again, what this says is that the theaters as a business model are broken, period. That if the portion of revenue, because they're acting like all of the revenue is going to evaporate, or like 50+% of the revenue is going to evaporate, which is just horseshit. It's just not going to be the case. But it tells me that they are so fucking strapped that if this unspoken rule is violated, that their entire business model collapses around their fucking knees, then their business model is garbage. And yes, it enables the studios to also make lots of money. But if that's the case, the studios should just be fucking putting their own theaters up and saying fuck it. But they don't. You know why? Because the theater model is garbage. If the theater model was that lucrative, then Universal Studios and these other fucking major hundreds of millions of dollars going out the window for a fucking movie here would just plop down franchised fucking theaters across the country and be done with it and say, hey, AMC, suck my balls. I'm cutting out the middleman. The theater business is so dope, I'm getting my hand in the cookie jar. So I don't have to go to your ass anymore. I just put a fucking movie theater, 1 or 2 in every fucking state, rent this shit out, fucking sit back and watch the money roll in. But at the end of the day, they don't, and I'm going to say it, it's because the model is bad, and now we're seeing it in action. And the fact that this isn't on paper somewhere, and it's just an unspoken rule, tells you even more about how financially fucking stupid the whole idea is. Because if it was really an honest-to-God fucking business decision that is lucrative for everyone involved, that shit would be signed in blood of infants and fucking put in a shadow box on the wall of every CEO in front of every billion-dollar-plus company involved in the movie industry. So yes, I believe they both they're interdependent on one another, but it's like an unhealthy fucking relationship where you got a drunk fucking husband and a wife that pays all the bills and buys them alcohol and just hopes it goes away. And that's what the fucking relationship is between these two entities right now, as far as I'm concerned. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I mean, I actually am. I'm on the complete opposite side of you on,
and that's fair. I'm not surprised
on that. I just don't agree with 90% of what you said. The movies are just not going to be as successful. The theaters lose out on a fuck ton of money when movies are not being shown exclusively in their theaters. A lot of these movie theaters have deals with studios. And there's a reason why AMC just put their foot down. And there's a reason why Universal will ultimately back out and not do this. Because they're going to realize very quickly if they decide to go that route, and AMC and Regal and then all kinds of other
if they all come together like the Wonder Twins and then block them, then yes, of course Universal's going to lose all the money.
They're going to lose a fuck ton of money. And they'd lose a fuck ton of money even without the 1,000 theaters that play Universal's movies. And they both make large amounts of money off each other. A lot of the time, they have specific deals where some theaters are getting good portions of sales from these movies. A lot of theaters also will sell movies digitally through their movie theaters as well. There's just a huge slew of stuff that they both need each other. They just do. And so I'm happy that AMC's putting their foot down. It's just not gonna it's just not gonna happen. They're already backing out a little bit on what they're saying. We'll see if they go through with this. It'll be the first, and we'll see if anybody else big follows the Universal footsteps. And there's a reason why, like Netflix, for example, only had the Irishman go into a select theaters is because they were like I think they were like Netflix owned theaters or very small private. I think it was like a few theaters in America that showed it for I think 30 days before it came out on Netflix. There's a reason why you do not see any movies going on Blu-ray for 90 days. There's a reason why you don't see them hit digital.
Oh, no, I get it.
For like 40-something days.
Yeah, I understand.
And it's always been like that.
Yeah.
It will always continue to be like that until, I guess until digital starts making the type of money that theaters can pull in. And the thing is, I don't think that's ever going to really be the case. I just don't, because there's something about the movie experience that it's unmatched. It's an escape. It's a date thing. It's you're part of the in crowd. You go out to see a new movie when it's available to everybody at every as soon as it comes out. It's like the exclusivity deals that we see in video games. You know, you put it out at a certain thing for so long before another company can get it, or you're selling a game on Epic for so long before it goes out to here, is because there's a revenue split, man. People are making money. There's a deal. They're helping each other out, and it's just the way she goes. So we'll see what happens. But my guess is probably with this time next week, we'll hear a complete backtrack and nothing's going to happen.
I don't think I agree that I doubt that this will be the time where it happens, but I'm pretty sure that this global situation that we are currently in has an extraordinarily high probability of being the genesis of exactly that, whereby people aren't just going to magically fucking waltz into a movie theater in 2021 and just start going back like normal. It's not like they're not going to flip a switch and suddenly Black Widow comes out and then every theater across the nation is packed full of people looking to see Scarlett Johansson's ass in a pair of tight blue jeans and leather pants. That's just not going to happen right away, and it's going to take a not insignificant amount of time for that to happen. And so it's going to be a battle of who's got the money and who's got the willpower to sit on and delay those that aren't already done all of their films for the length of time that they feel will allow them to release them and make their money back in a way that they feel comfortable. Because we're seeing it in the game industry right now, where The Last of Us got held back because they thought the physical copies wouldn't get out to people so that they could make their money, and now they're fucked. But I'm not saying that's going to happen in the movie theaters in the same way. But what I am saying is that you're going to see people hold on to them, but go, how long can we hold on to a movie? How long can we delay other movies in time in step so that our release schedule isn't fucked? How long can we sit around on that shit while the movie theater experience, as awesome as it is, people aren't going to, because until people are comfortable, like until we have a vaccine for Space Godzilla and then everyone gets their hands on that shit, there is not going to suddenly be an influx of people looking to sit elbow to elbow with motherfuckers in a movie theater for 3 hours to watch a movie. It's just not going to fucking happen.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is there is rumor that most theaters are going to be open again by July, and a lot of people are saying it's going to be open in June. I think what's going to happen is when theaters first open, there's going to be like social distancing, so they'll have like one row with people and then an empty row, and then one row with people and then an empty row, and then so many people in between each other. But I agree. The theaters are going to suffer for the next year. They're going to suffer. People will still go to the theater. I mean, if you open up the theaters today, I guarantee you, bro, people are going to the theaters to watch movies.
I do not underestimate the stupidity of the people that live around us. They're fucking vapid. I'm not underestimating that, but it's not going to be the numbers that you would see normally.
It's not.
And so, you know.
And the thing is the theaters are just not going to let them do the digital and that release while all this is going on, because it's going to set a precedent that once you start it, it ain't going to stop. And there is no winning for the theaters if the publishers are doing this. There's zero. You're only losing revenue.
Well, you know what they have to do, Jeff? They have to adapt as a business and change their value proposition like every other goddamn business on earth when shit like this happens. It's like everyone has, like, why are we rallying around? Why does it have to be changing the rules for fucking this specific reason. It's like we've got to come up with a different set of business rules. Just
they don't actually have to. That's the thing, right? They don't actually have to, because they're saying if you're going to do that, I'm not going to play your movies, which means it's just not.
No, what I'm saying for the theaters,
Yeah.
And if the theaters don't play Universal movies, it's like they're trying to call their bluff. This is a game of poker right now, because if Universal movies just up and leave,
but they're not bluffing.
No,
right? They're just not going to play it.
But in terms of if they're not going to play it, then you have less movies on hand, and Universal is not like they have 2 movies a year that bring in people to the theater. It's a hell of a lot more fucking movies than that.
They have a couple of big movies, yeah.
They have a couple of big movies. And if Universal does it, even if it is Universal, all it's going to take is one. And then somebody else is going to go, okay, maybe we should give this a shot too. It's only going to take one. And somebody will absolutely unequivocally fucking take that leap. And the business model of not just theaters and movies, but all sorts of fucking businesses all over the place are going to have to change their value propositions and live with the fact that that's the reality of it. And stiff-arming some old white man mojo bullshit from the last couple of fucking decades so that we can all go together and cry together while we watch Iron Man die in front of Spider-Man, spoiler alert, and he's I'm not feeling so for like $750 date night. I don't give a fuck, and I don't think other people are gonna fucking care all that much either. They're still gonna spend the money to go to the theaters. A small portion of people will skip the theaters to stay at home, but the reality is, not that many people are going to stay at home to watch Fast 28 on a 38-inch fucking 720p panel or a 1080p panel to not go to the fucking theater if they charge $30 to do it. It's not going to be half the income, I fucking promise you.
Dude, they're going to lose so much fucking money. It's insane, bro.
Well, then they have to change their value proposition. Tough shit.
They're going to lose so much fucking money. They're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars.
Because as far as Universal is concerned, they put out the fucking movies. They put out Fast 28, and it goes direct to, and if it does show up in theaters, and they're making their money, and the money that they make on direct to cuts out entirely any kind of financial responsibility that they have to licensing it out to anyone else or paying to get their movie put in front of people's eyeballs for the theater experience is not going to have to be paid anymore. And it will inevitably, if anything, it will backtrack to who gets paid for movies. And the actors are no longer boo fucking who. I'm real fucking upset about it. Robert Downey fucking I came out of the 90s alive on cocaine and made it out the other side to be a good human being. Junior no longer makes $50 million fucking dollars to be himself on camera. Yes, he does.
No,
because
he doesn't.
If he doesn't get paid $50 million anywhere else, then that's it.
Doesn't.
And if he doesn't, then who fucking cares?
The fucking shareholders of these companies, bro. The only
Fuck
reason why these ones.
Put your shares somewhere else. It's the fucking world we live in. Companies live and die.
Well, it's just not gonna fly, bro. It's just not gonna fly. I'm telling you right now. Something goes on digital, and there's a family of 5 that could go to the movie theater and spend $125 for them to all go to the movie theater and watch it, or spend $20 at home to rent it. A lot of people are gonna stay home and watch it at home. Yeah, because that's just it.
Sure.
And the theaters are going to suffer.
Then what's the theater? What's the theater's value proposition, Jeb?
The theater's value proposition is, hey, you're going to play your movies. There's a theatrical window. You're going to keep doing what we do for 100 years. Value proposition
to the person going to the theater, not Universal. I'm talking about the person that they're putting in seats.
I mean, there's a reason why AMC just spent like $5 billion or $3 billion on upgrading all the theaters to enhance the theater experience.
Okay.
You know, getting
so
better
does that mean that the theater experience is applicable to enough people to be a viable business model?
Yes.
Not if they put it on digital, it isn't apparently. All of a sudden, the value proposition, the entire value proposition is hinging entirely on exclusivity. You get rid of exclusivity, time window exclusivity, and the value proposition of the theater experience evaporates. You know what that means? It's a shit value proposition, and they need to do better.
It's not a shit value proposition if the fucking companies are making billions of dollars in the theaters.
But it's only because that's it.
Street.
It's because it's only there.
Street. If they don't play the movies in the theaters, they don't make billions at the box office.
Then why is it that the theater's making billions on billions hand over fist every single year? Why is it that all of a sudden they can't fucking float themselves for a single calendar year?
Because they got 1,000 theater chains spending $50,000 a month in some cases on rent.
Okay.
And everybody's getting fucked.
What does that mean?
That's why. It means that nobody predicted a pandemic. Everybody's getting fucked right now. The movies, everybody's getting fucked. Movies are getting pushed back. Movies that were supposed to come out already that are coming out later on in the year, they're not going to make as much money because there's so many fucking movies that are coming out all in the same time. And it's not as many people are going to want to go to the theaters because of a pandemic.
Yes.
It works both ways.
Yes.
The reason why Robert Downey can make $50 million is because his movies get shown in 50,000 theaters across the globe, and they get paid billions of dollars to show their movies in theaters. If those movies are not in theaters, they're not making the type of money that they were going to make. Hence, stockholders in said companies are not. Sequels are not going to be made. Less movies are going to be made. Less people are going to have jobs, and people are going to get fucked. That's why it works both ways. It's not just a one-way street. The theaters aren't the bad people.
I'm not saying anyone's a bad person.
I'm just telling you how it works. It's a two-sided coin, and the reason why they don't want them to have it both ways is because it cucks the theaters, and there's a reason why that the theatrical window exists, and it's been like that forever, and it's the reason why we haven't heard about it publicly until really now, and maybe one other time, and why movies don't come out both at the same time is because they understand the value of each other. They're leveraging each other, and it's been working out for a long time. Universal had a taste of what it's like to make $90 million in a pandemic, going straight to digital without theater, and they want to be able to do it. That's the reason why they said only certain movies were going to do that. Well, the thing is, the theater's going, no, you're not, because if you do, I'm going to cut out every fucking film that you come out with. And you know what Universal's going to do in the process? Go, oh, my bad. I'm not going to, I was just spitballing. Somebody just said something stupid, and I can't do it. That is the reason why they need each other. Because the movies don't make as much, the theaters don't make as much, and that's just the way it is.
And by that, what you mean is 7 people at the top of the companies don't make as much.
Yes.
Robert Downey doesn't get $50 million to go play fucking Iron Man.
Yes.
And then everyone else below them still gets paid a fucking regular ass salary because all the money goes to the top to float a business model that is entirely reliant on something that nobody wants to put on paper, and for half of them, a value proposition for the theaters, for the end user going to the theater, is so weak that it hinges on exclusivity.
I'm sure that there is something, legally speaking, some sort of deals, but from what I've been reading and from what I know of this theatrical window, it's just an unspoken thing. And it's just something that's always been like that. And there's a reason for it. So the theaters can make their money. The box office can make their money. And then when the theaters give the consumer a really good experience at the theater, they go, oh, I want to rewatch that on digital. Oh, I want to buy that on Blu-ray. And that's just that. Another thing is when a movie goes straight to digital and it goes right to digital and you watch it at home, people are going to be less likely to then buy that movie on digital if they already watched it at home on their TV on digital. So when you go to the theater and you have a great experience and you love the film and then 90 days later it comes out, you are far more likely to buy that movie than what you would if you watched it on digital and then you just bought it 2-3 days later to watch it on digital again.
I have a question just for you. How many movies have you bought permanently on digital versus just watching on a streaming service?
I've never bought a digital movie.
Thank you.
But I don't know if you know, but digital sales are massive. Company, these guys are making boatloads of money on digital. And
keep in mind, Jeff, that any sales figures that they include for digital will include the fact that when they sell shit like physical copies, that it comes with a digital release on it as well that will count towards that. They'll stick digital sales on top of movie theater tickets that you've already seen happen in the past. There's a bunch. It is not representative that there is like bajillions of people sitting around buying purely digital fucking film, why would anyone spend $30 on a digital fucking release that is streaming on a platform with thousands of other fucking things at the exact same quality? That makes no sense. And if people are doing it now, I promise you, that is the window of time for that to be a thing is about that fucking big. Streaming is going to kill. This is a discussion that is only about maybe the next 10 to 15, push it 20 years, absolute maximum. Streaming is going to change how all of these businesses run, theaters included, regardless of what any of this discussion has been based on. Period. The higher the quality the shit is at home, the higher the quality and the farther the reach the internet is, and the more people are more aware of the money that they're spending on a daily basis in the world, which this pandemic, by the way, has already changed everyone's spending habits in a way that is psychologically unlikely to suddenly fucking yo-yo right back up as it was before the pandemic. This shit will be changing. It's just when. And this is what's happening right now is just pressing the fast forward button on the VHS player, and we're going real fast. We're getting past VHS, we're going to DVD, and we're going skipping DVD, going straight into fucking Blu-ray, and then Blu-ray is now what? We're into streaming, and streaming is taking over everything, and it's going to be the way it goes. Theaters are going to have to find a way. I understand. I'm not disagreeing. That's why I said personally, as a consumer, there are always going to be movies that even if they have made it available on the same day, I am still going to the theater to watch a Star Wars film. I'm still going to the theater to watch Fast 79.
I don't know.
I'm still going. Yes.
I don't know, because that's you and that might be me. But when theaters are so fucking expensive and you got to pay, you look at a family, even just if I want to take me, my wife, and my son to a movie.
Yes.
Right. And I've got my own setup here.
Yes.
Or even a 4K TV. Everybody's got a fucking 4K TV.
Yes.
It's 2020.
Well, they're not all good, but they have 4K TVs.
So the thing is, if I have an option, and I know, even when I go and take my wife to the movie theater, I'm spending like $80. I'm not even joking. It's literally about $80. If I'm buying popcorn for us, I'm buying a drink, couple of tickets.
Yes.
We're talking family. You go to a family.
$120.
$120.
Yes.
And if I have a choice between babysitters, who knows? You want to go on a date night, you got to get a babysitter, you got to do this, you got to find specific time.
Absolutely.
All these things. You start telling people that, hey, $19.99, get this movie, it's yours for 48 hours, watch it when you feel like it, pause it when you want, go take a piss break when you want.
Absolutely.
Don't deal with none of the cuck lords in the movie theaters that are going to ruin your experience.
Yes.
Any of that stuff.
Yes.
There is a ton.
Yes.
Not a small amount of people, a large amount of people.
Sure.
That are going to go, fuck the movie theater.
What weakness does that point out?
Oh, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
But the reality is too, for the for the publishers, the Universals, the Disneys, all that stuff, they also need to realize that if those people do not go to the movie theater, they are not going to make as much money on their films.
Sure.
Period. They're just not.
Sure.
And we're not even talking any small amount.
Sure.
It's going to be a large portion, like
Absolutely.
a big chunk.
Absolutely.
Like, a lot of money's missed. So they got to be careful themselves, and they can't make the transition too fast. And they got to really watch themselves, because if they go this route and they start just putting it on digital, they're going to realize very quickly how important the theaters are. And they already know. That's the reason why this hasn't already happened. There's a reason why this hasn't happened like 10 years ago, especially now.
Well, 10 years ago, streaming was not something that was going to do this for them regardless.
Well, no, 5 years ago. I mean, even now, Disney got their own Disney Plus. They can sell their own. They don't. And when you think about it, they don't need the theaters, although they do need the theaters, but they could do it themselves. The reality of that is going to be less money, less box office, less wages, less stock value, less profit, less of all those things. And the reality is we're in a money business, and they're just not going to make that jump. They're
going to have to figure out. It's going to happen eventually, so they're going to have to figure it out. And their little union that's piggybacking a fucking international fucking military unit is no longer going to be viable in the grand scheme of things from a business perspective in the not too distant future. This is a I'm going to call this the movie theater bubble that has been slowly being pumped up with air for a long fucking time. That when we started hearing about people like, I'll keep saying Robert Downey because it's just the easiest example, about individual actors getting paid $50 million for a single film, you had to somehow inside of you had to go, you know what?
I don't mind.
It's not that I'm not sitting here begrudging Robert Downey Jr. for being able to stiff arm his way into $50 million. That's whatever. But what I'm saying is how the money pot on the other side got to where it was to be able for Robert Downey to go to them and say, I want $50 million to do this movie. That process was like a house made of fucking straw that got really fucking tall, and now somebody's come over and going and blowing on it, and the house is going, oh fuck!
I don't think the house
shit.
is doing that. I think the house literally, they blew, and the house said, hey, I'm made of brick.
I'm not saying
this.
This is Universal blowing on the house. I'm saying that the realities of the market and how consumers are wanting to, and how the market is shifting towards consumption is blowing on that house, going like this. And the pandemic is just a third, fourth, fifth, seventh person blowing in the same direction all at the same time. It's an even stronger wind than it would be otherwise. I don't mean Universal is the one that's causing the house to falter. Universal is seeing it and going, okay, well,
they want their cake and they want to eat it
we
too,
want a
right?
stronger foundation.
That's what they want.
Everyone wants. So do the theaters. Everyone in this
course.
conversation wants everything. If everyone could have everything, they'd fucking take it. They could sleep on a bed made of billions of fucking dollar bills. They do it.
They do.
Yes.
They do.
So
Yes.
this is not like there's nobody playing the fucking like chivalrous individual here.
Universal is in this case because everything has been the way everything has been. They had a taste of what it's like on digital. And now they want to, for select movies, they want to do both. And that's having your cake and eating it too.
Well, you know what Disney did?
Theatrical
Disney
window.
looked at Netflix making money hand over fist with all the Marvel films and all the Disney shit, and they went, you know what? I want my cake, motherfucker, and I'm gonna eat it too. And so I'm gonna come in and make Disney
they don't rely
Plus.
on anybody. But they don't have a deal with Netflix. Netflix doesn't.
Nobody
make
has a
money.
deal with anyone. They just, you know what they did? That's like, you know what this is? This is trying to hold up in court, sitting down and loosely writing out business contract on a hand and going,
Well,
this
nobody's
is our
suing
contract.
anybody. Nobody's suing anybody. You're just saying we're just not going to do business anymore.
They don't have to, because
You're-
if they sued them, they don't have any money to sue anyone with right now anyway. So that's beside the fucking point. AMC is already asking for tens of millions of dollar bailout. They're not going to go to fucking court and get litigious over the shit. And they're just going to the other people and going, hey, we're NATO. We're going to hold hands together, form a circle, and summon a giant middle finger and go, all right, well, you can't fucking do what you want to do, which is they might as well be suing them. It's blackmail. It's if you're going to do this, we're not giving you shit. Even if you only want to put out more minor films on digital first and still bring your biggest films into the theater for those releases.
Well, they can.
We're
They
doing
can put out
all of that shit. It's all gone. All of it's gone.
They can put out digital movies, but it can't hit theaters. That's what they're saying.
Yes, exactly.
So if you're planning on putting them on them both,
yes,
we're not going to show any of your movies. None of them. Digital, not digital, both. It is what it is. So I don't think it's blackmail at all. I think it's just fact. It's just, hey, dude, it's
blackmail.
It's not really blackmail.
It's actually extortion,
just, hey,
almost.
Extortion?
Yeah.
How is it extortion? It's like, hey, bro, if you come over to my house and you eat all my food in my fridge, and we ain't got no fucking deals, like, bro, you're not gonna come over to my house anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't know if that analogy is exactly.
Well, it's the same thing. It's like, bro, you're gonna come in and eat my food without even asking, because they didn't ask. They're just saying this is what we're gonna do. It's like, no, bro, I'm not gonna let you in my house. I'm not gonna let you in my house. Literally,
I mean,
my brick and mortar. I'm not gonna let you in my brick and mortar.
The definition of extortion is quite literally the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force or threat.
Yeah, but they don't have a deal. There is no deal.
But you're saying there is a deal. It's just unspoken. It's just not on paper.
Of course. But the thing is they don't have a deal. Like, hey, if Universal doesn't put any movies out in theaters,
the
AMC doesn't give a fuck. They're like, bro, hey, you didn't release movies in 5 years? I don't give a shit.
But if they do go to put them in theaters and they put it on digital, then there's a problem.
Of course, because now we're losing money. Because now we have an unspoken word that it's been like this for 100 years, and everybody's playing ball, everybody's playing game. And if you're going to be the misfit, you're going to be the odd man out, then fuck you. Your movies don't belong here. I'm not going to play any of your stuff. If you've got it figured out and you can make so much fucking money without us, then go ahead and do your thing. It's not like they're saying I'm going to sue you if you go and put your movies out by yourself or go build your own fucking theater. If it's that easy, go build your own theater and make $1 billion in the box office. I bet you won't. I bet you can't. That's what it is. It's just hey, go fuck yourself.
You know why? Because at the end of the day, you know why they haven't is for one of two reasons. One, it's probably antitrust.
Because they don't want to promote other movies in their theater. Disney is not going to build a theater and then play.
I don't think they're legally allowed to anyway.
They're not going to play Universal movies when their movies are in theaters. It's literal competition.
Sure.
It's like, hey, bro, there's an entire game around when movies get released, so they're not on top of each other. There is a specific reason why. There is a middleman. They don't play favorites. They play movies. This is it. The only thing we ask is that there's a window that you can put it on digital. You can put it on Blu-ray. You guys pick a date. This is your slot. That's the show. And the reality is not Universal, not Disney, not nobody. Sony, it doesn't matter. Nobody's building theaters because it would fail, because you're not going to make any money on playing your own goddamn movies and running your own shit. The only thing you can do is create your online subscription thing, which is making them boatloads of money, and play ball with the theaters. If not, well, we're not going to play your movies. And guess what? We don't play your movies. You don't make billions in the box office. Literal billions. You don't make them. And what else can you say? I don't consider that extortion. I just think that that's just bad business practice. Dude, if I'm in business with somebody and then they're like, yo, bro, I got this little side hustle going on, and this side hustle, unfortunately, is going to affect your bottom line pretty severely. But I'm doing it on my own. I'm thinking that I can still work with you, but when it's convenient, and I'm only going to do this for some movies and not others, but I'll decide when that time comes. I'm going to go, bro, we ain't in business anymore. I'm wiping my hands with you. You're unpredictable. And not only that, you're going to rub off on other people. You might just completely fuck up a whole lot of shit that doesn't need to be fucked up right now because everybody's making money. Because what? You made a little bit of money on trolls during a pandemic? Nah, bro. And that's the reason why none of that shit is going to fly. And to go with your last point, you're right. Digital is becoming a bigger thing, and it's going to be tougher and tougher on theaters as time comes. But I'm calling it now. The theater industry ain't going nowhere. We're going to get another 100 years of theaters, and they're going to thrive, and there's going to be big box office money, and that's just the way it's going to be. I'm not saying
theaters are going anywhere when I say that. I'm saying that they're going to have to shift their business model to survive, is what I'm saying. Because if their value proposition hinges entirely on that one thing, allowing them to do as well as they are, then they have a objectively weak value proposition that any other business on earth would have to evaluate, reevaluate, and modify to survive in a changing market. And they're going to have to, and it will happen. They will survive. People will still want to see movies in theaters and spend $800 on popcorn and drink fucking fountain pop until it comes out their fucking asshole. That's always going to be the case, but they're going to have to modify it in no insignificant amount. They're going to have to change. It's just, this has sped up the process, and we're now seeing, like you said, for the first time, the studios and the theaters, their behind-the-scenes business practices coming to light and butting heads because this situation has brought that to the forefront where it's becoming a conversation where the studios are going, I understand that we have this deal, but I really don't like bleeding money for like 2 years straight. So I'm going to have to do something as an individual business. And if you have a problem with that, then fine. And they're going to
actually didn't have a problem with them releasing digital. They even said like, hey, it's pandemic. We understand if you guys need to release your movies.
That's so talking out of both sides of their goddamn mouth. And if you don't think that, that's crazy. We don't have a problem, but we're also not going to show your movies in theaters because we don't want to make the money off of it if it's only going to be partial money because you put it out digitally. That is so fucking double speak. It's crazy.
We don't have a problem if you aren't planning on releasing those in theater.
That's what I mean.
If you are going straight to digital and you are not showing it in theaters, we have no problem. But if you think that you can go and have select movies that are going to go both on digital and theater simultaneously on release, I'm not showing any of your movies. So Universal, at any point, they can release Trolls 3 right on digital, and NATO, AMC, Regal, they're not going to give a fuck. They're only going to care is if they're going to try and also put them in the theater seats and then do it on digital at the same time. That's a pretty big point. Like that
See, you know what that says to me, not to like make this conversation even longer, but it just came to my mind now, is that what that tells me is that if they were going to put it out on digital and put it in the theater at the same time, and the movie theaters ideas were we were going to get less people in seats because of that, then I guess, which would mean less money for them during the time they're showing the movie in theaters, is that I guess my question becomes, what are they going to put in the theater? Like, do they assume then that there will always be, let's say, another blockbuster movie that they could just put into 3 more theaters within a complex to make more money than they would if they had a different movie that's also on digital, but you know what you see what I'm saying? Like, or what, like because they have to be assuming that if they don't take Universal Films, right? That the blocks, the number of theaters, like whenever you have a theater, you have a certain number of rooms showing X number of movies, and when a movie is new and depending on the hype behind it, etc., you're going to have more theaters in that theater dedicated to those movies. So
are they tickets?
Yeah, to sell tickets, right? Because they're playing the game of they're guessing which is going to make them the most money. So if you were to pull, let's say Disney was the one to go first because they have, like we were saying, their own platform, and of any of them, they have the closest possibility of doing their own shit because they own the fucking goddamn world. So let's say it was Disney that did it first, and so the theaters then say, okay, well, if you're going to go that route, then NATO's going to get together and we're going to say, okay, we're just not going to show your movies in theaters. That's fine. If you're going to do that, we're just not going to show your shit. So if they do that, then their assumption must be that there will be, throughout a given calendar year, enough films that would have filled the gaps of Disney movie releases to replace them in their theaters.
Yeah.
Or stretch other movies that may or may not be out in that time slot across more theaters within a complex to make up. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. So essentially, if they don't show Universal movies,
what are they
there are going to be dates where theoretically there'll be an empty theater because there's not. And the counter to that is they'll no longer have a release date time, which means other movie chains we'll have different. We'll fill them in. Yeah,
so that's the assumption. Yeah.
Because there's plenty of times, dude, where multiple movies are being and big movies are being released on the same day, and you almost got to choose which one you want to go.
Yeah,
having one go out of there, it's not going to affect the movie theater. I shouldn't say it's not going to affect them at all.
That's just a really interesting idea. How would that?
They're going to fill it because, movies sell out. You especially you look at the Christmas season, the summer blockbuster season. If, for example, Trolls is out and in a theater, it's playing in 2 auditoriums throughout the day, but yet Avengers is playing or Captain America or whatever. They're just going to fill that with another theater, and it's just going to sell the way that the other one would sell. And that is,
that's the assumption anyway, is that they'd be able to just slot it in.
Is. And not only that, is the other companies are going to be able to fill those slots, those precious slots. Fast and the Furious. We're looking at Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. There's some big movies that come out through Universal that take prime real estate time and dates that Marvel would love to jump on, or any other, movie would love to jump on. Because also people just like going to the movie theaters, even if there's not a lot out and there's something that's like mediocre and you just feel like going to the movies, they're going to go and watch that. So, getting people in the seats is still going to happen. Yeah, sure. I believe that the theater would lose some money if Universal isn't playing their movies. Like, there is money to be lost for sure. But it would not be even close to the amount of money that would be lost if they did both at the same time. It's an interesting thing. And I can see the theater's point of view, and I can also see the point of view of the studios, where they're like, fuck, I want to just make as much money as I can, because I want to be able to pay Robert Downey $70 million.
Or just right now, they have no other way to make money.
Yes. But the reason why it's cool now is because they're not actually showing them in theaters. So playing it on digital to the theaters, they don't care.
Yeah.
It's only when they think they're going to double dip, where they're like, nah, bro, you ain't going to double dip. You're going to wait 47 days. Like everybody else, 47 days. If they don't want to watch it in theater, they can go and watch it in 47 days on digital. And if you don't want to do that, then I'm not going to play your movies. And I think that's, in my opinion, I think it's fair. I see where you're coming from, where, hey, you got to pivot. You got to understand that, hey, these companies need to make money. They want to make more money. But you can also see the theater side of things. It's like, listen, we're the ones that's distributing all of your movies. And yes, you are giving us the movies to show. So it does work both ways. Without you guys, we don't exist. And without us, you guys don't really exist. There's a reason why there's the big screen and the small screen. And there's a reason why the quality is different. Now, let's keep it real. The quality is definitely going up for the smaller screen, which is great. And what's keeping people home more and more and more. Absolutely. Because I know that I don't have to go to the movie theater and spend $60, $80 to take my wife out to go and have an enjoyable night. I can do that right in my home and watch quality television or a quality movie right at home. And the theaters know that too. The theaters know that. And if you give people an option to go watch the new, especially me, you give me the option to go watch the new Black Widow movie, which I'm not excited for. And you say, hey, Jeff, you're going to save $80. Get it for $20 at home. Dude, I'm getting it for $20 at home.
Yeah.
I just am. And the theaters are going to lose out on that money.
Yeah.
Period. And there's going to be millions and millions of other people that are going to do the same. And then there are just some people that are going to go, you know what? I'm just not going to go to the theater, because some people just don't really care about the theater all that much. They rather just be at home but there's a movie that they really want to see. The spouse really wants to see it. Fine, I'll go to the theater. I'll go and spend the money, get a babysitter, and do that. It can be scary for the movie theaters, and that's the reason why they're putting the foot down. And at the same time, the reality is all these studios are going to realize, and they do. There's a reason why they don't do this, and they know, they're not stupid, that if they try and pull that sort of stunt, they're going to get backlash, and they're going to lose far more money, way more money than what they ever will get on the uptick for digital. The only way I can see this work, and my last thing, because we've been talking about this for a minute.
Yeah.
The only way I can see this working is if the theaters that are allowing to do both at the same time, that they also get the same cut and or profit from the digital sale as the theater sale. That's the only way that I see the theaters going, okay, you know what? Fine. You want to do it, but for every digital copy you're selling, we're getting X amount of the percentage of the sale, as we do if we're in the theater, whatever deal we have with the studio. And that's the show. That's the only way I can ever see that working ever. If not, it's going to get to the point where these studios are going to have to choose. We're either going purely digital, which means the budgets of films are going to go down, the pay of actors are going to go down, and a lot of times the quality of the films are going to go down. So I just don't foresee it. Well, yes, because if you're not going to pay a good director what they're looking for, or a good actor what they're looking for, and if every studio isn't on the same page and they're still paying what they normally get paid, they're going to go to a different studio. They just are. Unless it's some sort of weird passion project or something, they don't care about the money. But let's be real, it's Hollywood. Everybody cares about the money. And that's just the way it is. So if Avengers isn't making their $2.5 billion in box office, we're not going to get another Avengers film at that level. We're not going to have the entire cast show up and do their thing. We're just not. And that'd be unfortunate for the viewer and the studios and the theater. I think everybody loses. I don't think really the only way that the people win is, yes, having choices is a win for us. If we could choose to watch a movie at home or go to the theater, that's a win for the consumer. The problem is, ultimately, with having that luxury comes at the loss of both the studio and the theater, and which means if the studios aren't making as much money, the movies just aren't going to be as frequent, and that's just, it's a shame. I think ultimately we lose. And if I can't wait 47 days to watch a movie on digital, or I can't wait 90 days, this was never a problem for me. If there's a movie I really wanted to go see, I just go to the theater and see it.
Well, it's not a problem for me either. I don't find it to be a particular problem to wait. But that's also my point. It's just hard for us to tell how much we are representative of the general population.
Another thing that was said when on the article that I was reading about this and the podcast that I was listening to when they were talking about this is gone straight to digital. The piracy rates are through the fucking roof, which means you put a movie out on digital, people are taking a high definition rip of that movie and immediately putting it out for everybody, which also hurts the movie theater sales and the digital sales. When you go straight to theater, you force people to go and watch the movie there. And yeah, sure, you get like sometimes a shitty camera, like a 720p shaky cam, or just a shitty rip that nobody really wants to make, some people will watch it because they don't really care, but real moviegoers want to experience a movie in high definition at the very least. You put out Avengers, Jurassic World, Trolls, by the way, is super pirated beyond measure. Fuck my Plex has all kinds of these digital movies. The ones that went right to digital, like that Vin Diesel movie that came out, all those other ones. As soon as it hits digital, piracy up the fucking waz. And you know who loses? The studio loses and the theaters lose because even more people aren't doing it. And then you want to give them a choice to not even pay the $19.99 to rent. Now I'm just going to steal it. Now I'm just going to stream it on every other streaming website that has a rip of the movie and perfectly high def quality. And now we're going to watch it. So it's not smart. I got to be honest, bro. They seem to be really hurting financially about it too. They're really struggling out there, and I feel for them. And I just can't. It's got to be hard, when you're like a white guy like me, you got a lot of ass hair, and you get like a particularly fucking like wet shit, and $100 bills, they just don't wipe. Just don't wipe right, you need something bigger, you need something better, the quality needs to be a little different. Canadian money is a little fucky, in the States they still got paper money, we have like a plastic shit up here now. It's hard, and I get it. It's difficult, and your asshole burns, and you bleed a little, and it's hard. They're really hurting out there, and I feel for them at this crucial point where I'm sure that they're not going to be able to buy their 18th yacht. It's really fucking tough out there, and some people, they need caviar directly injected into their main vein to be able to fucking live on a daily basis, so that they can go sun their fucking taints out in the hills of California and buy a winery when they retire, despite the fact that they don't know the difference between a $3 bottle and a $300 bottle. It's a tough world. It's a tough one out there, and I really, you know what? It's a real struggle bus, and I hope they make it all the way through. But you know what time it is, Jeff? It is time for tech support.
Hey, Jeff. Seth
Yeah.
asks, how is that Eero working out for you?
The what?
Your Wi-Fi, mesh Wi-Fi.
Oh shit, it's great. So I got that. I set it up 2 days ago. I set it up wrong the first night, and it was still working good. And then I realized that there's like different zones in the house.
Yes.
And then when you go to set it up on the app, it asks you like the shape of your house, whether you have a long house or a square house. And I had everything fucked up. So anyway, I watched the tutorial on YouTube.
Yeah.
And guy went through it, set it up. Now it's like butter. So no matter where I'm at in the house,
maximum Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I get like full blown speeds. I'm getting almost like a gig down.
Nice.
And you can do tests right on the app, which is nice. So it does speed test. And you can do tests in different areas in your house to make sure that your signal is still good. Yeah, and then on top of that, the smart devices that we have in certain zones in the house, you connect those smart devices to those specific zones so that you stay full blown all the time. So it's great. I mean, it was pricey. I think it was like 300 and some change, but the quality of life improvement.
I mean, a good router is $250, so it's not like, you know.
Yeah. So thank you for suggesting it and saying that last week. It's been working great. We haven't had any issues with it so far, and the little devices are sleek. They're small. They look good. It was super easy to set up. It just everything was great.
And now in the future, Jeff, when you get that new fridge and you've got that screen on it, your fridge, maximum Wi-Fi.
Maximum Wi-Fi. And the what else was I going to say? Because before what it was is we had routers. So we have a router in my bedroom. We've got a router in another room. And then depending on what area of the house is. So if I'm on the west side of the house, I would have to connect to a different router because the Wi-Fi connection wasn't strong enough to make it to the other side of the house. Now, and I'd have to physically on my phone, like change the Wi-Fi to the one I need. Now I can walk anywhere at any time. I don't have to switch anything, and it just stays connected, which is great.
Oh, it's fire.
That's the dream.
That is the dream.
And all the routers in my house, gone. Don't need them anymore.
Super Kami Guru asks, what's the last thing that made you rage quit a game? What game was it?
That made me super rage.
Or just rage quit a game, basically.
Oh, rage quit a game? What was it, guys? I don't know in stream. When was the last time I played a game and just said, fuck this?
I rage quit Persona 5 because Morgana is the most insufferable character ever written in a video game. So I bounced the fuck out of that. Twice, actually. And before that, I rage quit Catherine. Was coincidentally also another Atlas game. Because the controls with the D-pad that was, that the Xbox had and everything, it was so shit. It was so
Breath of the Wild, maybe.
Drove me nuts.
Maybe. I think Breath of the Wild might have actually been the last game that I picked up and played and said, fuck this game, and just turned it off. Pretty sure that was it, actually.
Caleb asks, what's your funniest, cringiest rejection story?
Rejection.
I've never been like directly rejected before. The closest was back, you'll remember back in the Tinder Files segment of the podcast several months ago now. It's been a hot minute. It's going to be a year ago almost here soon with the Tinder Files. But the first date that I went on was with another Filipino girl, and she was the one that was like, she was like the one that didn't say like 3 words. From the moment I picked her up, I could not break the ice or get her talking about anything at all. And so we were out for lunch or whatever, and at the end, after all this time, it was like an hour and a half of me trying anything and everything to just get her to like talk, do anything, and not just be like yes, no answers or whatever. And there was a couple times she said like full sentences. At the end of it, it was the classic. You know, she gets a call after texting her, because she was on her phone like the whole fucking time too. It was just brutal.
Yeah, no,
After texting for a while, gets the call, and then she's like, "Yeah, I've got to go. My sister's actually here to come pick me. She's my sister's gonna pick me up. She's off work early. We're gonna spend the afternoon or the late afternoon or whatever together." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I was like, "All right, well, that's cool. Do you want me to drive you there?" Because she wasn't picking her up at the restaurant. So it's like, "Do you want me to just fucking walk you there so you're not by yourself or literally anything?" And she was like, "No, I'm good. She's just over," and she was just vaguely pointing in a direction and just like
over there.
Yeah, it's just over there somewhere, and walked off. And I was like, all right, well, cool.
I guess I'll take the tab.
I guess I'll just take that. And I texted her afterwards. I was like, thanks for the attempt. Good luck out there. And that was it. So that was rough.
I'm trying to think of a time that I've been rejected.
Fuck, that was an awkward date. Jesus, have mercy on my soul.
I don't think I've man, see, I don't know. Like, I've been drunk a lot of down at the club a lot, and like try to move up on girls and stuff, like dancing and stuff, and got like shoot off or pushed, girlfriend grabs a girl and like, come on, we gotta get to the bathroom, like, get away from this guy. Like, I guess those are types of rejections, but I mean, I've had so many of those that like I don't even consider those real rejections. Those are just more of like, club things. I got rejected. The only like rejection that I got that I can really think of that kind of sticks to me is I took a girl out on a date, and we went out to karaoke, and So my thing always is I take a girl to karaoke, we have some drinks, sing some songs, usually impress them a little bit, and just kind of have fun, and then usually that's enough to like get me in.
Yeah.
So I'm with this chick, and we're on our first date, and I think we went out to like get ice cream or something first and just kind of have a chat because we met online. And so we're getting to know each other and it's going well. And then she's like, well, because we didn't really have much planned. We just wanted to go for ice cream because I think she was just more wanted to go to a public place and just talk.
Online dating, that's the safest
it's smart
play.
thing to do.
Yeah.
Smart thing to do. And I was young. So I was like maybe 19, 20, 19. So we went to Dairy Queen and we sat in the place just to kind of have a chat, and things were going good. And it was really sort of early in the evening, probably like 6-7 o'clock. Sun wasn't really even going down yet. And we had finished our ice creams and we were eating it pretty slow, because it'd be kind of awkward. Like you finish your ice cream because I can wolf down stuff and then you're just kind of sitting there. So I'm like eating it really slow at a point where it's like melting by the time I'm done. And, we're kicking it off and like we're talking about my family and her family and just kind of getting to know each other a little bit and what we do and shit like that. I think at the time I was working at either the theater or
theater.
Yeah, it might have been the theater or East Side Mario's. I'm not sure. Might have been East Side Mario's. So we finished up and she's like, so what do you want to do now? Right. So that was pretty much like a green light to continue the night. So I was like, oh, well, I don't really know. I was like, well, we can, go down to the bar and get a drink or two. She's like, yeah, sure. She's like, which bar do you want to go to? I said, well, the karaoke happens down at this place. We can go down there. I was like, do you sing karaoke? And she's like, no, you're not going to get me up there. I was like, well, let's just go down there and, it's fun to listen to people sing and, we can shoot some pool or whatever. So we go down there. And the night's going great. We have a few drinks. And at the time I was driving. So we ended up drinking a little bit too much. So I'm like, well, I can't really drive. It got to the point where it's like you have a couple of drinks and you're like, hey, if I drink anymore, I can't really drive. So what would the plan be? And she said, yeah, no problem. We'll stay and have some more, and we'll just get a cab back to my place. So I was like, when they say that,
I mean,
right?
that's now you feel like you've just touchdown.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, sure. So we have more drinks. Night's going good. Singing, going. Everything's golden. We get a cab. We go back to her apartment, and it was pretty late at that point. It was probably like 1 a.m., maybe 1:30. It was late. And so we get there, and it's awkward because when I get into her living room, it's pretty bare. She had a TV in a sofa. It was a 1-bedroom apartment. It was a nice place. And so we sit on the sofa, and we've already had something to drink, and then she offers like, hey, do you want another drink? I'm like, yeah, sure. So she gets me a beer. She has a beer, and we're just sitting down on the sofa, and we're drinking. And I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. So this is, I don't know if anybody
You're
has
trying to
ever
read
been
the
in
situation.
Exactly, right? So the girl is and I'm being a gentleman the whole way through. Like, I want to smash. And I'm trying not to come off like that guy that's just trying to smash on the first date, but she did offer me to go there. And so at that point, I'm getting signals like I'm going to smash. So anyway, I move in, we're making out a little bit, whatever. And then she gets up and she goes to her room, and I follow her. So I get to the door of her room, and she goes, "Whoa." And I was like, what? Right. And I have a beer in my hand. Right. I'm like, whoa. I'm like, what? And she's like, she said, yeah, no, that's not happening on the first date. You can sleep on the couch. And I was like, oh, fuck. Right. So I got shut down. That's like, and so I went, and I was a gentleman about it.
I wouldn't even
like,
call that rejection. I think you just didn't find somebody that was looking for a one-night stand.
Yeah. So, that was like the closest thing, I guess, to like a rejection that I can remember. And so I didn't take a cab home. I slept on the sofa. She drove me back to, I was actually staying at my mom's. So she dropped me back over at my mom's place in the morning. But yeah. And then, to continue with this chick, we went on a second date, and, we were texting each other quite a bit. And it was to the point where it was like, there was like signals that like, hey, we're no longer on the first date anymore. We're on the second date. You know what I mean? So, we went to a second date, and we went to the movies and just went to dinner. So I went to go pick her up at her house or at her apartment, and she comes out in fucking crutches, and she's got a cast on, and I'm like, oh no, fucking hell. And she didn't tell me, right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, now I'm definitely not.
How am I supposed to smash when she's in a body cast?
I'm definitely not smashing, but I was still a gentleman about it. I was a little disappointed because I was like, at the time, dude, I was, it wasn't that hard for me to go and get what it's, I only wanted one thing. I know it sounds I'm a bit of a dick, but I just want to sleep with her. I wasn't looking for a relationship or anything like that, because I had gotten out of a long-term relationship. But I kind of had to play ball, you know what I mean? So I took her out on another date. We did all this other stuff. And I knew at that point I wasn't, nothing major was going to happen. So that night I actually went home because we didn't really drink. We had like a drink. And then, and then we actually didn't see each other for a while. So, we had talked occasionally once in a while. And then, like a few weeks later, she randomly called me up. She said, hey, you want to go to karaoke again? I was like, yeah, sure. I went to karaoke. She had no cast. It's a third date. And you boy smashed.
And then you ghosted her like the fucking fuckboy you were.
You know what, though? And I felt bad because I didn't actually talk to her again. After
bro.
I know.
I feel like if you're in it for the smash, that's fine. But if it doesn't happen on the first night, you just gotta fucking like...
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is it didn't feel that bad because we hadn't really talked all that much for a while. So
Yeah.
and we were kind of doing our own things, and her profile was still up on, you know, the website and stuff. And so I think she just called me honestly for a booty call. Like at that point, right? She had her cast off and stuff.
Yeah.
I think she called me to, you know, just to fuck around because
So
she didn't
what
really
hap-
make
what-
much of
what-
an effort.
Why was she in a cat? What the fuck happened? Did she get hit by a car? Like, what the fuck?
No, she was playing soccer, and she's a soccer player.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she's playing soccer and rolled her ankle or rolled something and fucked something up, sprained something,
Fucking rip.
or whatever, right? So she had crutches and shit like that.
Hey Jeff, Zen Mighty asks, change one, or says, or I guess is a request, change one thing in a bad game to make it a great game.
Get rid of co-op, single player,
In what game?
almost everyone.
Not Halo though. Halo co-op's fire. Yeah, Halo co-op can stay.
Because there's a lot of games that don't need to be
I'd say
online,
multiplayer specifically.
Yeah, like multiplayer.
Yeah.
That just don't need to be that at all.
Final Fantasy VII Remake, Nomura. Get rid of them, game becomes 1,000 times better. Mark Furry asks, when did you have breakfast? What was it?
I had breakfast this morning at 9:30. I had 3 eggs over easy, a slice of whole wheat toast, 6 strips of bacon,
Wow.
and a glass of orange juice.
Wow, you went in on that half dozen.
Fuck it. I love me some bacon, bro.
Dude, the fat count in that breakfast, impressive.
Hey, I'm a dad now, bro.
3 eggs and 6 strips of bacon, my man.
That's daily.
I ate
Daily.
Dude, bro.
Every day.
Bro, your cholesterol
Through the roof.
through the roof. I ate breakfast today at 12, quarter after 12, because I didn't get to sleep until about...
That's not breakfast, bro. That's lunch.
Fair. Because I didn't get to sleep until about 4-ish, 4:30. And I had 2 eggs, 2 pieces of toast, an apple, no bacon. That was my breakfast. The toast was butter, and strawberry jam. That was my go-to. Normally it's 2 eggs, half an avocado, half an apple. We just got avocados today. Dad just went out today, and they're not ready to eat, so I didn't have them. But normally it's 2 eggs, half an avocado, an apple, 2 pieces of toast with some strawberry jam. Coincidentally, French Adam, his question, jam or jelly? What's your go-to?
Jam.
I'm a jam guy all day.
Yeah.
There's
pretty easy.
There was one jelly that I ever actually liked, and it was my great aunt's blackberry jelly. Everything else, don't give a fuck. Give me some jam. Let's see. Roran says, hey guys, finally get on the Patreon. Well, thank you, Roran, by the way. First of all, thank you for hooking up on Patreon. We really appreciate that. Is there a movie that you were looking forward to and it let you down? He says, besides the new Star Wars. Bonus, you get to remake those movies. Who do you have to star, direct, and all that kind of stuff? He says, my movie would be Aragon. Peter Jackson directs. Jeremy Irons is starring.
Jeremy Irons?
It's a hell of a random pick for any movie, but hey, Jeremy Irons, get in there.
All right.
So
ask
the first part of the question is the core of the question is what movie that you were looking forward to that you went to see let you down? He says beside the newer Star Wars movies.
Okay. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with John Wick 3. Kind of let me down a little bit.
I agree. Actually, I fully agree. We have the same.
Yeah, and it's because I was so hyped about it, and I'm not saying it was a bad movie by any means.
We just needed more. We needed more lore and more story.
I needed more lore and story. It was because they've got so much there that it just felt like another John Wick movie when they could have done so much more with the material they have. Is like, it's crazy that they didn't do more. In terms of an action film, it's great. It's everything that you'd want from a John Wick movie, but it was a bit of a letdown, if I'm just being honest. It doesn't mean I didn't enjoy it.
No,
I just hold the John Wick at a high standard because the first two were so good. And I'm gonna just go and say that I think the third one was the worst out of the first two. Overall,
yeah.
Yeah.
Alexa, if you guys were stuck inside for 6 months, not allowed to work or stream, what would you do with the 6 months?
If I'm not allowed to work or stream,
yeah.
Honestly,
a lot of exercise.
And play video games.
And I'd still be playing some games. And I'd probably just choose something to study for, just to keep my mind from going fucking bad shit.
I'd be consuming a lot of Netflix and shit.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. If I'm not allowed to work.
Dudson asks, were you ever in intensive care as a patient, or if not, as a visitor, and why? I've never been in for intensive care, and I've never been in even as a visitor for somebody else being in for intensive care. The closest to that I ever had was when Natalie passed out. My first girlfriend, Natalie, passed out on the street, waiting for the bus, and smashed her face off the concrete, fucked herself right up, broke her 2 front teeth, and cracked a few others, and her blood pressure dropped right out, and they had to take her to the hospital, and she was in there for a hot minute and whatnot. That was probably the closest that I was to that. And that's obviously not intensive care, but she was in the hospital for a few days while they figured that shit out. Will Hawkins asked, did you have any great teachers in high school?
High school?
Not really. Our high school teachers were pretty shit, actually.
Yeah. My junior high teachers were pretty fun.
Yeah, we had some good. We had Dunbar and Minicello were good teachers, and
I like Tracy too, or I guess McDonald. She turned because she got married.
Yeah. But high school was rough.
I think the closest thing was Mr. Church. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah, there were some teachers that were like pretty good teachers, but they weren't like the teachers that would stand out in your mind.
Yeah.
As being like spectacular teachers, and most of them were actually just shit, and kind of shit people. So
in a pretty shit school too.
A pretty
fucking shitty school.
Yeah, like high school was like our elementary. Well, the one I went to, I don't know, but your elementary, I can't remember which one you went to. You were in.
I was at. I went to several.
Yeah, you bounced around.
I went to 2 different elementary schools and 2 different junior highs and 1 high school.
So my elementary and junior high were great experiences. And then high school, even though the high school experience was good, the teachers were just fucking whatever. I mean, it was nothing to write home about.
I'd go Mr. Church for my favorite.
Preach!
Preach.
Kimmets asks, what's the wisest thing your old man has ever said? Fuck, Dad has said a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I can just pick one out of the fucking air.
I don't know if my dad's not very quick, but basically, he taught me at a pretty young age that, like, you know, you got to work for everything in life. Like, you know, nothing's handed out. So you want to get somewhere, you want to do something, you got to have good work ethic. But I mean, I'm just kind of paraphrasing sort of lessons that Dad has sort of taught me. Yeah, that was pretty much that.
Fuck.
He also taught me to stand up for myself. So, like, you know, if people are bullying you or giving you a hard time, like my dad was a pretty big advocate of fighting. If you're backed into a corner.
I feel
he's
like
always been
most
like that.
people are probably, if you're
Yeah.
back to a corner, you know,
Yeah.
if you're going to be
Like
forced to
always
fight,
walk away. Yeah, like walk away from a bad situation, but defend yourself if you have no choice. Like, you know, and he always told me, you know, hit him as hard as you can.
There are no rules.
Yeah, you hit him as hard as you can because you might only get one shot and make it count. So even if you get beat up, they're going to remember you. That was sort of his thing. And I fought a lot in elementary school and junior high. I didn't fight almost at all in high school. I think I had like one fist fight in high school because I tried to get away from it. And high school was a little bit different too because it was in a bad area and there's bad people. There's some things you just don't want to mix yourself in with. But in elementary and junior high, I fought a lot simply because of the fact I was a black guy in school that was all white people and in an area where they don't like black people too much, at least a lot of people. So I did a lot of fighting, especially in junior high, fuck ton of fighting.
Yeah, high school was good. Our high school was a good place to stay under the radar because there was enough people there that it was
just kind of blended in.
It was the classic. There's the classic.
It's a melting
if
pot.
They have
there.
nothing to lose, and there were a lot of kids there that had nothing to lose and were actively making good on that all the fucking time.
Looking for trouble. Just looking for trouble.
For something to do, and not like looking for just a fight, but looking to fuck somebody up, hospital, kill them, whatever the fuck. So, yeah, it was a good time to fly under the radar. I don't know. My dad's fuck. It's a lot. Actually, but I guess probably the one that I try to put to use the most is that once it's not anything, it's like generic shit, but it was still something I needed to hear from him before I really took it on for myself. Like if you hear it from everyone else, but then you hear it from somebody that you respect and it changes it, right? It's like you have to hear it from somebody that you have respect for, which was the old adage of water under the bridge. You know, when I was so fucking angry all the time when something happened and it was out of my control, but it affected me. So fucking angry. And one day he came down the stairs, was in university when I got cucked out of my graduating with honors, magna cum laude.
Oh, okay.
I got cucked into the ground on that one. I was fucking livid because it was 4 years of just basically slavery to get it was the last. I had reached all my other goals. It was the last one, and it was nothing. There's nothing I could have done. It was out of my control, and it was 0.01, and it was so close. You know, if I missed it by a mile, it would have been way easier. But I was literally fucking there, and it was something I had no control over, and I was fucking angry. And Dad came down that afternoon after I was upstairs and I was just pacing the floor, steaming and fucking just ranting and raving and you know, it was the water under the bridge discussion, where it was like, you know, you have to learn. He was like, life is going to throw you an awful lot of bullshit that you don't have control over, and it's going to drive you particularly fucking crazy. And you have to learn for your own health. You have to learn how to fucking let that shit go, and just move on and deal with it and be able to. And because you're not going to be able to just have a shitty situation happen and then walk away from it. Oftentimes, the shitty situation happens and you're stuck in it for an extended period of time. And if you're stuck in it for an extended period of time and you're just, you know, raging about it. And you're not gonna, it's gonna take you even longer to get out of the fucking situation. And so that was probably the most useful thing and it's not, again, not something that you don't already hear from everyone else. It's one of the most fucking commonly used phrases, you know, water under the bridge.
But it's different when you hear it from your dad.
But when it comes from your dad, then you actually listen, right?
You listen.
You actually pay attention to it. Yeah. Last game that you completed off of stream. Says 8, 9, 10. That's the question.
Practice off stream?
Or the game that you completed off stream. The last one.
The last game that I completed off stream.
Was I even streaming at that time? I'm trying to think of like when. I guess technically with M, her and I finished Link's Awakening together here not long ago. That was off stream, so I guess that kind of counts. But like individually, like if I'm playing by myself, a game that I finished off stream, I can't remember the last time I actually played like a story game off stream by myself. I don't remember.
I actually don't remember either. I've played games off stream, but played and finished.
Like I'll play multiplayer games off stream, but I can't remember the last time I sat down and played like a single player game start to finish off stream.
Yeah, I don't think I've done it in the last 9 years. Yeah, I mean I've played quite a bit of Mario Odyssey on my Switch, like off stream, and Kayla beat that game, but I didn't actually finish it. I got pretty far, but I didn't finish it. And then I gave it to my cousin. So yeah, I don't the thing is when you play video games for a living, like you don't play video games often by yourself, and you most certainly don't do full playthroughs by yourself because you could do it while you stream.
Yeah.
So what's the point? I'd rather get paid to play and use my actual work time to work, and then my free time, which I don't have much of, I don't want to spend playing video games. And if there's a game that I enjoy enough to play off stream, chances are I'm going to want to entertain you guys and play it on stream. So I don't think I've ever done a full playthrough in the last 9 years off stream.
Yeah. If I have, I can't think of it off the top of my head. The closest thing really is Link's Awakening, and that's only because Em was playing it. I bought it for her, and we were playing it kind of together. Once in a while, and that was it. Bounce, he says, place your bets, predict the day, the month, and the year when the Space Godzilla pandemic officially ends and we can go back into our daily lives as if it was 2019 again. Well, the first thing to understand is that it's never going to be 2019 again. That shit is gone. The shit is going to be different, and it's going to be forever different moving forward. But in terms of, like, everyone being able to go back outside and not have to, like, be, 6 feet apart and wear masks and shit like that, I'm going to say, I'm going to go with May the 17th. No, May the 14th. May the 14th of 2022. I think we're going to have the vaccine sometime. We're going to have relative herd immunity by spring 2021 would be my best uneducated guess. And we'll probably have a vaccine around the same time, get through enough trials for the scientists to go, yeah, we can do this. And for sane countries to go, yeah, that's been tested enough so that we can inject it into our fucking citizens. And then it will take months to circulate that vaccine and have everyone to receive it. And then so I'm going to go, we got some time. And now it doesn't mean that we're going to be stuck in our house until that date, but in terms of everyone being able to just go about their fucking business like we did until, the next fucking pandemic hits, I'm saying May 14th, 2022.
To go about their business. So we're talking like no more.
As if you didn't have to give a fuck
distancing
anymore because you're vaccinated or you've had it and everyone's had it and we're not worried about people dying en masse.
See, I think things are going to go a lot more back to normal even before a vaccine comes out. But if we're talking full blown, no worry at all, like, I'm gonna go with March, April. Yeah, I'm gonna go April 20th, 4/20, 2021.
There you go.
That's my guess.
There you go.
But I think people are going to start going out and everybody's going to be working and doing their own thing by, I would say, October this year.
There will
there's
be
just going to be protocols and steps put in place for specific distancing and certain people allowed in certain buildings at a time, and things like that. So I think probably October, the world is going to start to feel normal-ish, but there'll be that underlining, still be diligent and still wash your hands and not touch your face if you try not to be in full crowds, even though that there is still going to be events and certain things. Like, I know a lot of things will be canceled for the whole year, but I think that there'll start to be parties and gatherings and conferences and theaters and things. There will be things with groups of people, but I think you'll probably start seeing that again probably around October. But I'm with you. It's going to take a year plus, up to 18 months before there's a vaccine and
bro, I'm still reeling over watching Elon Musk be a complete fucking idiot on Twitter in the last couple of days. I can't even fucking
I don't know. I have no idea where that came from, but
that dude
it is what it is.
Needs to shut the fuck up. Like,
I when it comes to Elon Musk, I think he's saying this shit purposely to like tank his stock, and then people are gonna buy a bunch of stock and is gonna shoot right back up. I think that there is like a method to this dude's madness. He's so smart that like I don't think that those things are for I think it's calculated what he's doing. But yeah, I agree. I mean, he's been saying some fucking ridiculous shit that I really don't want to get into because
no, I don't have any.
I agree. It's just pretty ridiculous.
One sec. Oh, some of these are good questions, but they're fucking lengthy. This will be funny. Paul asks, how do you prefer to drink your water? Myself, I like a nice glass of room temperature to quench my thirst. Also, poutine, ? Yes or no? Well, it's a universal yes on poutine, and if you ever say no, that just means that you're a bad human. But as far as water goes, how do you prefer your water, Jay?
I just drink it however it is. So this has been sitting on my desk for probably 5 days.
Wow. Must taste pretty good.
It's still kind of cold because it's not cold down here, but it's not super warm. Yeah, it doesn't matter to me if my water's cold, warm. I mean, I prefer colder water, but I'm not a big water drinker. I don't drink enough water. I drink juice and fucking pop and shit that's just not good for you. I need to drink more water. But yeah, my son. One thing that there's 3 things that my son is. I know this is a bit of a pivot, but there's 3 things that my son has never done. So my son has never used the soother.
Okay.
We put it in his mouth twice when he was like 2 months old, and he would just spit it out. We're like, all right, that's enough. He's never what was the other one? I had another one. And the other thing is he only drinks water and mommy's titty.
That's so good.
Yeah. So like right now upstairs, he always has a sippy cup. This kid drinks more water than me, without a doubt. Like like we're talking probably 3-4 times the amount of water I drink in a day. This kid drinks.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah. And he doesn't have juice. He doesn't have he doesn't even know what orange juice tastes like. I've given him a sip of my apple juice just to see his face. But yeah, he only drinks water. And he loves water.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It's the way to fucking go. All right, this is a relatively short one. Black Jimmy asks, when do you think Star Citizen will finally either be finished or canceled? I think this whole thing shutters by roughly 2022. If I think about it, I think they've got that window of time to get it out the door, or this game just gets investigated and shut down, and we find out Chris Roberts is just, doing his weight in cocaine blows a day with backer money. I think that's about the time frame they got. They got 2 years.
2022.
Yeah. That's
my
guess.
I'll go 2024.
Oh, wow.
They're
Got
gonna
4
keep
more
milking
years
this
on
baby.
that bad boy?
4 more years. 4 more.
Oh, man.
4 more.
Like a good president, 4 more years. Last question. Nikki asks, by the way, shout outs to Nikki for working on my website the way that he has. Fucking God. It's 2024, and the world has finally returned to normal. So he's saying 2024. He's putting this shit even further out. But Disney theme parks have shuttered because it's 2024, and I mean, that's just reasonable. You've been given an unlimited budget to turn any video game into an amusement park. Which game do you choose? And if you
Mario.
can think of it, what are the signature rides? And what is the most overpriced game-inspired food item?
I'm going Mario.
Okay.
I'm going to go with like the green tube ride, when you go down the little doo.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like a big, huge fucking, like the terror, the Tower of Terror that they have with the big elevator that shoots down.
Yeah. It's that, but it makes the do sound.
Exactly. So you're in like one big long fucking Mario tube,
Yeah.
and it just fucking hammers you down.
Okay.
And the most expensive thing is just pizza.
It's just pizza?
Just pizza. I'm gonna go with pizza.
What was their what was Mario's go-to food on that like super fucking
a mushroom?
Crazy 90s
I thought Mario
live
Brothers
action
liked pizza.
the live action thing. Was it pizza?
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember.
It was either pizza or it was spaghetti, but I think it was pizza.
Man, yeah. How do you do better than Mario? Really, if you think about it,
it just makes sense too. Like
it just
Mario
makes
kind of
like you
cool...
literally call it Super Mario Land, and you open it
Super Mario World
or Super Mario World for that matter. And then the ride, I'm gonna go with it's a roller coaster that's a hanging roller coaster. Okay. That simulates the whole thing with he's got his yellow cape on and the fact that he's gonna like dive bomb and come back up and shit. So it's a roller coaster, and it's a hanging one, and there's like molded capes that come off the back of the hanging roller coaster part in between seats and shit. And then it's you're going through one of those bad boys.
I thought you were gonna say like the caterpillar that you see in the sand deserts. And then that's the roller coaster.
Oh yeah, well you could do something like that as well. But yeah, I'd go for that. And then the most expensive food item, it's gonna be a bottle of water. $10.
Well,
bottle of water.
Probably already the most expensive food item there.
And that's all we got, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Technical Podcast in the books. You know what I got upstairs, Jeff?
What do you got?
Em won that turkey all those months ago, and we've got Mom made turkey fucking dinner today.
Oh my God, you
Stuffing
lucky son of a
and
bitch.
everything upstairs. Turkey.
It's probably smelling like God in that house right now.
Dude, this room is smelling like heaven. And when I open that door and unleash the demon, it's going to be just food smell is going to waft in here, and I'm going to be teleported to Thanksgiving. Shit is going to be...
This guy's having fucking turkey dinner.
Living my best fucking life right now.
That is the best life right now.
Straight up. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Patreon.com/LagTV if you want to financially help keep this bad boy going. And thank you so much for all the new Patreons that have been coming in here in the last couple of weeks, because there have been several of you. We appreciate those that have to turn down their support a bit but have kept it going. That's also fantastic. And hey, if you got to back out entirely right now, we understand it.
Still love you.
Trump bucks can only take you so far. And sometimes you even got to wait just to get your hands on Trump bucks in the first place. So we get it, but thank you so much, guys. It means a lot to us. We hope to see you guys next week. Thank you once again. And until we see you guys next week, have a good one. And, I did it again, Jeff.
What'd you do?
Fucking did it again.
What'd you do?
No, never mind. We got it. I closed the audio folder out when I didn't mean to.
No.
But I got it. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.